Chapter 696. Looking at this scene, Qianlong's heart was filled with regret and endless hatred. After all, he was mostly responsible for this. If it wasn't for the fact that he wanted the Xuanzong sect's martial arts, they would probably still be a top sect that dominated a region. But what about now? All the elders and grand elders of the Qiankuan sect were here. They wanted to destroy the Xuanzong sect in one fell swoop. But now, they were the ones being destroyed. At this moment, there was nothing he could do other than hate. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but he didn't have the strength to do so. Even if he wanted to take revenge, he didn't have the chance. The elders and grand elders of the Qiankuan sect were all crippled. Their strength was greatly reduced and they didn't have the strength to fight back. You guys are doing well. This time, we are only collecting interest. But don't worry, there will be people who will take your lives. I hope you don't die too quickly. Otherwise, it won't be fun. What? At this moment, the young man standing at the front looked at Qianlong, who was in a daze. His lips curled into a mocking smile. However, Qianlong's face became even more ferocious. He was even more confused when he heard the young man's words. Moreover, he had been suspicious ever since they came here and didn't kill anyone. If it were any other sect, they would only be able to solve the problem by killing. As the saying goes, if you don't remove the roots, the grass will grow again. However, they did this. Alright, I won't waste my time with you guys. You guys can leave now. Looking at Qianlong, the young man didn't even look at him. He turned around and prepared to leave. Oh right, remember this. Don't interfere in the battle between the younger generation. Of course, if you guys insist on interfering. I don't mind killing the chicken to warn the monkey. I will use you guys to stop the bleeding and scare the rest of the sections. With that, the young man brought Ghostly and the rest of them and disappeared from the spot, leaving behind the elders and grand elders of Qiankuan sect in a daze. Sigh. At this moment, Qianlong, who was watching his younger brother and the others leave, was filled with regret. At the same time, he was also worried about the thousands of disciples who were heading to the Xuanzong sect. He wanted to rush over to stop them, and even wanted to rush over to help. However, when he thought of the words that the man had said before he left, his originally restless body stopped. It wasn't that he was doing it on his own accord, but that his body didn't listen to him at this moment and stopped on its own accord. Qian. Old ancestor Qianlong, what should we do? Our sect has 1,000 sect disciples? Don't tell me. At this moment, a middle-aged man who also had a broken arm walked up and asked with pity in his eyes. That's right, old ancestor. Those are the elites of the sect. If they all, then the sect is really finished. At that moment, with the middle-aged man taking the lead, voices began to appear in Qianlong's ears one after another. They began to linger, unable to be dispelled and unable to be dispelled. It was like a curse, causing his body and mind to be tormented and in unbearable pain. Alas! Qianlong raised his head and swept his gaze across the crowd. His face was filled with disappointment and helplessness. What can I do? What do you think I can do? Look at our current situation. Our strength is not as strong as before. If we go now, it's very likely that we won't be able to return. Although I know that disciples are the foundation of the sect, you have to know that it's not enough to just have disciples. Only with the nurturing of ancestors like you can we achieve great things. At this point, Qianlong continued, so, one thing I want is for us to return to the sect now and ask you to let them go out and recruit a group of talented disciples. After 1,000 years, they will definitely become the new batch of pillars of the sect. Of course, all of this is inseparable from your knowledge. So, make your choice. Do you want to be destroyed now, or do you want to return to the sect and nurture new disciples? In this way, a short 100 years will be a long time. You have to know that for us, 1,000 years is just a snap of the fingers. At that moment, Qianlong's words had been heard by everyone present. As long as they were sensible people, they would know what to do with this choice. After all, they also knew the importance of this matter. However, what they didn't know was that above them, the men who had already left were looking at them from the void. Ha! I didn't expect this. Qianlong guy to have some brains? Sigh. But even if he has brains, the destruction of Qiankuan's sect is already destined. So, let's go, there's nothing for us to do here. When ghostly Dongren heard his brother's words, he nodded his head. After that, everyone disappeared from where they were. Like a shooting star, they rushed towards the direction of Xian's sect in an instant. At this moment, Qianlong, who was discussing whether to retreat or not, looked at his subordinates who were so hesitant, and a trace of disappointment appeared on his face. Forget it, you guys can slowly think about it here, I will leave first. After that, Qianlong disappeared from everyone's sight. Sigh. Seeing their ancestor disappear, everyone instantly had an answer in their hearts. Let's go, everyone. The ancestor is right. Where there's life, there's hope. As long as there's life, there's hope. If the green mountain doesn't change, the green water will continue to flow. If you want to take revenge in the future, there will be plenty of opportunities. As soon as he said that, the last line of defense in everyone's hearts completely collapsed. At this moment, everyone looked at each other and nodded in agreement. Then, they disappeared from the spot. The battle ended just like that. For this time, the Xuanzong sect had won a great victory. However, it wasn't just here. Even at this moment, it was the same in front of the Xuanzong sect's mountain gate. At this moment, in front of the Xian sect's mountain gate, smoke filled the air and the flames of war raged on. Blood was everywhere and it had already formed a thin stream the size of a finger. There were even more broken fingers and broken limbs in the field. At this moment, in front of the mountain gate, it was no longer a beautiful place with beautiful scenery. Instead, it had become a hell of a jura, causing people to be terrified. Sect leader, I don't know what's going on. There's no hierarch expert among the disciples. There are only 2 or 3 divine emperors. The rest are all divine emperors or god sects. What? At this moment, standing at the entrance of the Xuanzong sect, he looked down at the scene below like a deity. He sneered in his heart. However, right at this moment, Jian Feng arrived and the information he said shocked Lin Yun. Yes, sect leader. Not only that, the Qiankuan sect's disciples who came here are all injured. Based on my guess, it's very likely that they went through a terrifying battle before they came here. Hearing Jian Feng's report, Lin Yun fell into silence for a moment as he pondered. Moreover, there are divine emperors among them. Therefore, I think those hierarch experts might have been stopped. Alright, let's not think about this anymore. No matter who it is, I have to thank him. I'm afraid the sect is already in a precarious situation. At this moment, Lin Yun, who was deep in thought, heard Jian Feng's speculation. He immediately came to his senses and ordered, "Go, since someone is helping us, we can't let them down." This time, none of the Qiankuan sect's disciples who came to attack the sect are to be spared. Kill them all. As soon as these words came out, an aura of contempt filled Lin Yun's surroundings at this moment. Jian Feng, who was beside Lin Yun, could naturally feel it. When Jian Feng sensed the aura, he immediately accepted the order and said, "Yes, I will give the order now. Kill all the people who came to invade this time." "Okay, go." "Yes." After receiving the order, Jian Feng did not stay and immediately turned around and flew down. Next, all the Xuanzong sect's disciples received Jian Feng's order and attacked even more crazily and fiercely. It was as if they had been revived and became very fierce. At this moment, in the sky above the battlefield, the young man and the others who had returned had cast an invisibility spell on themselves so that no one could see them. Heh, looks like we don't have to worry anymore. Yes, not bad. Moreover, Bai Qi and Dian Wei are both peak divine emperors. This is a piece of cake for them. Yes, in that case, let's go. Everyone had their own opinions. In the end, when they looked at the current situation of the battlefield, they realized that the Xuanzong sect had formed an absolute suppression. They were relieved and did not stay any longer. They directly walked into the sect and flew toward the Xuanzong sect's mystic realm. However, Lin Yun naturally did not know about the figures and conversations of the young man and the others. At this moment, he was only concerned about the outcome of the battle. After all, if the Qianquan sect's disciples were wiped out in one fell swoop, the Xuanzong sect's reputation would spread throughout the divine realm. They could even use this as an excuse to replace the Qianquan sect and become as famous as the other top sects in the divine realm. Lin Yun had never thought about this before. If it were not for this matter, it would probably take some time for the Xuanzong sect's reputation to spread. But now, it was as easy as blowing away dust. Previously, he was still worried about the destruction of the sect. Now, he was thinking about the future of the sect. Time passed by slowly. The battlefield was filled with screams, cries for mercy, and cries of pain and regret. The people of the Xuanzong sect could not do anything about it. This was not only because of the hatred they had for the immortal world, but also because of the war in the immortal world. They hated the Qianquan sect even more for coming to stir up trouble. Therefore, the people of the Xuanzong sect showed no mercy. As long as it was a disciple of the Qianquan sect, they would kill them. The battle lasted for a day and a night. Finally, all the disciples of the Qianquan sect who came this time were killed. Not a single one was left alive. This news spread throughout the entire divine realm like the wind. However, in the 9 continents, only the 9th continent did not know about this matter. After Xuanzong found out about this matter, he wasn't happy. However, he couldn't say that he was unhappy either. Just like that, the battle ended with a crushing defeat by the Xuanzong sect. This time, the Qianquan sect could be said to have suffered heavy injuries. After this incident, the first-grade sects in the divine realm started to stir. They started to move around the Qianquan sect. Even the top-grade sects in the divine realm started to make some moves. None of them could stop this from happening. After all, they knew that Qianquan sect was done for because of this incident. Everyone knew how strong the Xuanzong sect was. After this battle, everyone knew that they could not afford to offend the Xuanzong sect. Even the Qianquan sect, which had lasted until now, was almost destroyed. They did not think that they had the strength to do so. At this moment, everyone placed the Xuanzong sect in the top-grade sects in their hearts. However, no one in the Xuanzong sect knew about this. After the battle with the Qianquan sect ended, Lin Yun quickly called back all the disciples who were in charge of gathering information. Therefore, no one in the Xuanzong sect knew about the situation in the outside world. It had been more than a month since the battle between the Xuanzong sect and the Qianquan sect ended. In this month, all the major forces in the divine realm started to make their moves. After this incident, the undercurrents in the divine realm started to move. Just like that, the Xuanzong sect inadvertently started a reshuffling of the cards in the divine realm. At this moment, 2 men and a woman were standing at the entrance of the mountain in the north. They raised their heads and looked at the magnificent scene at the entrance. At this moment, 2 horned dragons were chained to the sides of the mountain. They were like door gods guarding the entrance. Why are there horned dragons here? And why are they chained up like this? Don't they know how to resist? Moreover, I can see that their cultivation is already in the hierarch realm. If they were in the divine realm, they would be considered experts who ruled over a region. Why are they here? At this moment, one of the men was blind, but his face was like jade. His eyebrows were sharp and his eyes were bright. There was also an invisible aura around him that made people submit to him. Why, young master, we don't know. However, these two horned dragons seem to have been here for a long time. As for why they are chained up, we don't know. Moreover, the Danzong Sect's library doesn't have any records of this. At this moment, the other man heard the question of the blind young man and quickly lowered his head to answer respectfully. Oh? Is that so? At this moment, after listening to his reply, the man fell silent for a moment. At this moment, the three people standing at the entrance of the mountain were none other than Lin Rui, Chu Xi, and Yun Kai, who came from the Xuanzong sect. After a long journey, they finally arrived here today. However, after arriving here, Lin Li could tell that something was off. For example, two hierarch-level horned dragons were rare even in the entire God realm, let alone two of them. Furthermore, they were locked up. Lin Li was very puzzled by this. He was puzzled as to who was able to suppress them here. Chapter 697. Let's go. Young Master. Lin Rui, who was deep in thought, quickly came to his senses when he heard Chu Xi's words. He nodded. Yes, let's go. As he spoke, Lin Li stepped forward, intending to pass through. However, who would have thought that the horned dragons that had been chained to the sides of the valley, which had been quiet earlier, would suddenly let out two furious roars the moment Lin Li stepped through the entrance. They instantly roared at Lin Li and the other two with a majestic pressure. It was also at this moment that Lin Li's body froze on the spot when he heard the horned dragon's furious roar. One of his feet was outside the entrance, while the other was inside the entrance, suspended in mid-air. However, the strange thing was that Chu Xi and Yun Kai had already entered, but they did not seem to have any problems. The horned dragons on both sides of the valley seemed to be targeting him alone. What's going on? At that moment, Chu Xi, who had already entered the valley, was puzzled when he saw this strange scene. He did not know what was going on either. Furthermore, this was his first time returning from the outside. Previously, this place had always been sealed, so he was confused by the current situation. Roar, the angry roars continued, and the roars seemed to be growing louder and louder. Lin Li began to feel sullen in his heart. F***ck. F***ck, are you messing with me? Huh? He raised his head to look at the two horned dragons with a hint of anger on his face, but he did not lose his temper. After all, the ones who were dissatisfied with him were two godly venerables. If they were god emperors, he would have destroyed them with the Chaos Dragon Spear. Senior, I wonder why you're doing this? At that moment, Yun Kai looked troubled when she saw this scene. Then, as if she had thought of something, she raised her head and respectfully asked the horned dragons above her, Senior, we are all disciples of the 9th continent. I wonder if you can let the three of us pass through. This junior will definitely thank you for your great kindness in the future. Hearing Yun Kai's words, Lin Rui was speechless for a moment. However, even though he was speechless, the effect was still very good. Not long after Yun Kai finished speaking in a humble manner, a man's powerful voice sounded at this moment. Humph! How dare you! As soon as he said that, the entire valley began to tremble. His voice was like the sound of an ancient bell that spread far and wide. Senior, at this moment, Yun Kai's entire body trembled, and her face was deathly pale. Her internal organs were churning in her stomach, and there was a sweet taste in her throat. A mouthful of blood had already reached her throat. When Chu Xi saw his fiancée in such a state, he immediately hurried to her side and placed his hand on her back. A strand of pure energy entered her body and began to nourish her injured organs. At the same time, when he felt that his fiancée's internal organs had been damaged, a surge of qi gushed out. However, he knew that he did not have the strength to do so. Nevertheless, he would remember this grudge deeply in his heart. At this moment, Chu Xi secretly swore that when he was stronger than them in the future, he would definitely take revenge for today. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was still rooted to the spot, had already sensed Chu Xi's qi. At the same time, Lin Rei naturally knew what Chu Xi was thinking. Cough cough, at this moment, because of Chu Xi's help, the pain from the damaged organs in her stomach eased a little. However, if it was not treated in time, it would probably leave a lasting effect. You. How are you? Does it still hurt? When he heard his fiancée cough, Chu Xi immediately stopped asking for more energy from her. Instead, he walked up to her with a nervous expression and asked with concern. I'm fine. Yun Kai opened her eyes and saw how nervous Chu Xi was. For a moment, 2 red spots appeared on her pale cheeks. At this moment, Yun Kai's delicate appearance was especially lovable. You juniors are full of lies. As a disciple of the 9th continent, you let an outer region disciple in. Do you know your crime? The sudden voice interrupted the 2 of them. Because of this voice, the 2 of them did not dare to look at Chu Xi. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was still in the same posture as before, moved at this moment. Previously, one of his feet was still hanging in the air, but now, his entire body naturally entered the entrance. There was a trace of madness on his face, and his tone was so cold that it made Yun Kai and Chu Xi, who were standing beside him, feel a chill in their hearts. Horned dragons. So what if you're horned dragons? He raised his head and extended his consciousness to look at the 2 horned dragons above him. You're just 2 animals. Moreover, what right do you have to restrict this sovereign? Who do you think you are? Gods? Or the gods of this entrance? At this point, a look of disdain fell into the eyes of the 2 horned dragons. You, what about you? Let me tell you, this sovereign is definitely going to enter this place today. The 2 horned dragons did not react to the change in Lin Rei's attitude. Just as they said the word, you, they were directly interrupted by Lin Rei and retorted, you're not convinced? Bite me if you're not convinced. Ha. At this moment, Lin Rei's words. Even Chu Xi and Chu Xi, who were beside him, could not help but laugh out loud. Especially Yun Kai. Her face, which was originally pale, was now flushed red from laughing. It was full of charm. This kid is always so ostentatious wherever he goes. I really don't know what can change his temper. At this moment, in a hidden place outside the valley, a young woman in red clothes was smiling mischievously as she watched what was happening in the valley. If Lin Rei was here, he would definitely recognize her. He would definitely be able to recognize that this woman was none other than demonic Phoenix, whom Linli had rejected long ago. So, just when Lin Rei was about to leave, Xiaofan already knew about it, so after sending Lin Ling away, she turned invisible and followed them. Along the way, the 4 of them had been following at such a distance. Perhaps because Xiaofang's cultivation level was high, or perhaps because Lin Rei did not expect her to follow them, Lin Rei and the other 2 did not notice that someone was following them. Looking at the horned dragons on both sides of the valley, Xiaofan revealed an amused smile. She released a chilling intent instantly and arrived beside the 2 horned dragons. At this moment, Xiaofang's chilling intent turned the 2 horned dragons from their domineering demeanor into obedient babies. Their arrogant heads lowered at this moment. However, not only the 2 horned dragons, but Lin Rei, who had been observing them with his spirit sense, also felt the chilling intense attack at this moment. This feeling, although that chilling intent gave him a headache, this feeling felt familiar to him as though he had felt it somewhere before. Impossible? She didn't follow us? At this moment, Xiaofang's figure appeared in his mind. However, the moment Xiaofang's figure appeared, Lin Rei waved it away. This was because he had already told Xiaofang not to follow him when he came out. Hence, at this moment, he chose to believe that Xiaofang would listen to him. However, what he did not expect was that. He believed that Xiaofang was hiding in a secret place not far away from the valley. Moreover, she was watching every move he made right now. After this thought disappeared, he could no longer think of the source of that chilling intent. Although he did not know who it was, he knew that there were not only the three of them and the two horned dragons here. There must be someone else here, but he did not know. The moment he felt the chilling intent, he had also released his spirit sense to take in everything within a 50-kilometer radius in his mind. However, to his disappointment, there was nothing within a 50-kilometer radius except for the existence of a person. At this moment, Linley secretly grew vigilant. The only explanation for all of these strange occurrences was that the cultivation level of this person who was emitting this cold aura was definitely extremely high, so high that even his divine sense was unable to detect the other party's existence. Be careful, there might be experts here. Quickly leave in a while and rush into the depths of the valley. Rush out of here as soon as possible. Enter the 9th continent, do you understand? Yes, we understand. At this moment, they suddenly heard Lin Rei's message. For a moment, the two of them were stunned. Then, they quickly came back to their senses and hurriedly nodded in response. Yes. Just remember. When I tell you to leave, leave quickly. Looking at them, Lin Rei turned around and said to the two horned dragons above him, "Make a sound. I'm meditating here today. If you have the ability, come at me." As he spoke, the chaotic dragon spear instantly appeared in his hand and was tightly gripped in his hand. Immediately, a terrifying killing intent rushed out and rushed towards the two horned dragons above him. Awu, as members of the dragon race, even though they were from the outer branch of the dragon race, they were still disciples of the dragon race. The dignity of the dragon race was not to be blasphemed. At this moment, when they saw Lin Rei's actions, they felt that their dignity was being humiliated. Instantly, a furious roar pierced through the air. At this moment it was unknown whether it was because the two dragons had activated their will or something else, but the originally clear sky suddenly began to slowly darken. Soon afterwards, a bolt of lightning shot out of the clouds like a lightning serpent, charging towards Linley. "Ha, come at me." This was what he wanted to see the most. In the situation where he did not know whether the expert hiding in the dark was a friend or foe, the first thing that came to his mind was the danger that the two of them would be in. Therefore, he had no choice but to do this. Hurry up and leave this place. This place is slowly being surrounded by the aura field. Before it completely envelopes this place, leave quickly and reach the 9th continent as soon as possible. Young master, at this moment, Lin Rei's words made the two of them feel extremely ashamed. However, they knew that a battle of this level was not something that they could participate in even though they were already emperor gods. As smart people, they naturally knew that leaving was the best way to help Lin Rei. Hurry up and leave, hurry. Looking at them, Lin Rei knew what they meant. However, when he saw that the aura field was about to surround the two of them, he passed through his mouth and ignored them. Instead, he leaped up and used the martial god to collide with the descending lightning snake. Hurry up, Kai-er. Let's leave this place quickly. At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's angry roar, Chu Ci hurriedly put away the shame in her heart. Then, she released her cultivation and wrapped her fiancé in it. Using the medicine god's steps, the two of them instantly disappeared from the spot. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was colliding with the lightning snake, had already sensed that the two of them had left. In response, a trace of relief appeared on his face. Then, a shocking battle intent rushed out of his body at this moment. With a trace of madness on his face, he charged forward courageously to attack the root of the problem. Bang, bzzzt, with a loud bang, lightning exploded. Immediately, the entire entrance of the search mountain was enveloped in lightning. The outside could not see in, and the inside could not see out either. At this moment, Xiaofan, who was not far away from the valley, saw this scene again and became worried. That brat, what is he thinking? I've already helped him to subdue the two horned dragons. Why didn't he step forward? Why is he fighting the horned dragons here now? At this moment, she was very puzzled by Lin Rei's actions. However, if he knew that it was all because of her, she would probably die of embarrassment. The horned dragons were very much looking forward to this scene. At this moment, the two horned dragons looked at the silver light and were instantly delighted. Time passed by slowly. After a while, the silver light disappeared. However, the scene that the horned dragons were looking forward to did not appear. They saw a young man holding a long spear standing proudly in the sky. His entire body was emitting an aura that looked down on all living things. He looked down on the world and looked down on everything. The two horned dragons were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Their hearts were filled with doubt and unwillingness. They did not dare to believe that their attacks could not kill a mere emperor god human. Not only was this looking down on them, but it was also a humiliation to them. They would not allow this to happen. No. You must die. You must die. Awu. Awu, angry roars could be heard. In the sky, a silver-white lightning was shuttling through the dark clouds as if it was looking for something. Heh. And, Linley's heart was filled with disdain towards the lightning in the dark clouds above his head. It wasn't because the lightning wasn't strong, but because his body had already been tempered by the lightning of the Death Gorge's lightning field to the point that he was immune to lightning. Therefore, no matter how they attacked him with lightning, it was only an itch to him. He did not feel any pain. Boom! Boom! At this moment, when Lin Rei was disdainful of the lightning above his head, a few more lightning bolts rushed out of the dark clouds and descended towards him. This time, he could feel that the power of the lightning had increased. However, even so, he was not afraid at all. You're just an ant. Since you want to play, I will play with you to my heart's content today. Chapter 698. Looking at them, Lin Rei lost the intention to continue wasting time with them. Lin Rei held the spear in his hand and activated the martial god tactic. Instantly, the surrounding space started to change subtly. Go back and wait obediently. As he spoke, Lin Rei disappeared from where he was like a ghost. Seeing this, the two horned dragons who were chained on both sides of the valley frowned and squinted their eyes. At this moment, they were truly shocked. They really didn't expect Linley to be like this. In the past, they had seen many god emperors. Originally, they thought that today would be the same as before. But now, when they saw Linley disappear completely and they couldn't sense any aura from him, they started to respect this battle. It wasn't that they wanted to, but they had no choice because the strength that Lin Rei displayed was beyond their expectations. Why can't I find him? The moment Lin Rei disappeared, the two horned dragons started to use their consciousness to search for him. However, to their disappointment, they couldn't sense any aura from him. However, this was indeed the case. The more they thought about it, the more fearful they became. This proved that their opponent was very powerful. He was so powerful that they couldn't sense any aura from him. Heh! Just as the two horned dragons were searching anxiously, they heard a chilling sneer above their heads. What? How is this possible? The moment the sneer was heard, the two horned dragons were shocked and exclaimed. Their faces were filled with disbelief. They couldn't believe that all of this was real. Everything is possible. At this moment, Linley silently appeared above the heads of the two horned dragons. A primal chaos dragon spear was aimed at them. Immediately, the war god commanded the spear to attack them. The two horned dragons were caught off guard by this sudden attack. They could only use their claws to block it. This was the only way they could use so far. Of course, they could choose not to use it. However, they would be using their own bodies. In front of such an unprofitable thing, they would rather minimize the harm. Bam, bam, the giant claw and the spear collided, and two loud booms rang out. Because of their battle, the entire valley on both sides paid a terrible price. Landslides and boulders fell. In a short period of time, other than the boulders that sealed the horned dragon, everything else was in ruins. Heh, you brat. Wherever you go, you'll suffer. I wonder if you were the reincarnation of the god of destruction in your previous life. At this moment, outside the valley, in the place where Xiaofan was hiding not too far away, Lin Rei's current actions, as well as the surrounding mountains that had been turned into ruins because of him, all of this fell into her eyes. The evil phoenix revealed a smile, a teasing smile on his face. Cough, cough, a coughing sound was heard. Immediately, Xia Feng's gaze gathered on Lin Rei's body. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was suppressed on the ground by the horned dragon, had a pale face. Purple blood flowed out of his mouth and chest continuously. He would even cough from time to time. Hiss. Damn it, it really hurts. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was lying on the ground, began to try to get up. However, just as his body moved, a despairing pain instantly spread throughout his body. His internal organs were rolling around in his abdomen. However, what made it hard for him to accept this was that he had lost, and lost so thoroughly. Now, he did not even have the strength to fight back. He was like Xiaofan. His heart was filled with countless questions. It was clearly not like this, but now, he could not figure it out. However, the most important thing now was to stand up and suppress the pain in his body. Otherwise, the following battle would be completely hopeless. As the saying goes, it is never too late for a gentleman to take revenge. He did not think that he was a gentleman. In his dictionary, as long as he could take revenge, it did not matter whether he was a gentleman or not. Revenge was the way of the king. Moreover, he did not want to die in the hands of these two beasts. At that moment, the humiliation made him forget all the pain in his body. He clenched his teeth as purple blood flowed out. However, Lin Rei ignored it and allowed it to flow. Little by little, Ji Lei's body crawled up. However, in the process of crawling up, large beads of sweat dripped down as though they were free. Along with the beads of sweat, his blood started to boil. Ha! Although he said it didn't hurt, Linley's face had turned even paler and more ferocious than before. The violet blood on the ground emitted a fragrant aroma, causing anyone who smelled it to feel as if they wouldn't want to leave. Lin Rei did not pay any attention to that. His consciousness had been looking at the two horned dragons above him the entire time. The fury in his heart had completely enraged him. Crunch. 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 Crunching sounds rang out at that moment. Although Lin Rei had stood up, his legs were still bent. They were even crooked and trembling, as if a gust of wind could make him fall again. However, his back was like the majestic body of a god with such a body. It was firm, domineering, disdainful, and contemptuous. Many pills appeared in Lin Rei's hand. Not only that, but Lin Rei also stuffed handfuls into his mouth as if he had gone mad. If a pill refiner was there and saw the appearance of the pills in Lin Rei's hand and their fragrance, they would definitely greedily rush up to snatch them. It was for no other reason than any random pill in his hand could make all cultivators and pill refiners go crazy. However, the current Lin Rei acted as if he was eating worthless candy. He stuffed the pills into his mouth as if they were worthless. He did not feel any heartache at all. However, to put it bluntly, those pills had already completed their mission. At that moment, the purple blood that was originally flowing on Lin Rei's chest had stopped at that moment. The scratches on his chest were also recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. Facing all of that, Lin Rei's face faintly revealed a trace of a smile. However, no one noticed that smile. As for his originally deathly pale face, at this moment, because of the medicinal pill, the color of blood slowly returned to his face. He was no longer as pale as a corpse from before. However, that scene was already seen by the two horned dragons above Lin Rei. They were extremely shocked at that scene. This guy. What other trump cards does this guy have? Why? Why is he so powerful? That's right. Why? Why is it like this? If it wasn't for our combined ultimate skill, I'm afraid that we would either be dead or injured. If he were to do that again, I'm afraid, at that moment, the two horned dragons saw that Lin Rei's injuries were rapidly recovering. At that moment, their hearts were beating like drums. At the same time, their hearts were filled with fear. Others might not know, but they were very clear about the original reason. If the previous attack came again, they were afraid that they would not be able to withstand Lin Rei's attack like before. No, let's take advantage of his illness and kill him. Okay, got it. At that moment, a thought flashed through Twin Dragon's mind. As he thought about it, streams of sword chi instantly shot out, carrying traces of cold light as they charged towards Linli. There were traces of killing intent on the sword chi. At that moment, Xiaofan, who was hiding in the distance, saw it and her face was filled with hatred. Bastards, a group of bastards actually dared to launch a sneak attack. You are truly a disgrace to the dragon race. At that moment, when she saw Lin Rei and saw the traces of sword chi that were inches away from Lin Rei, she panicked. The worry in her expression could no longer be hidden and completely exploded at that moment. At the same time, at that moment, she could no longer hide. For Lin Rei's safety, at that moment, she did not think about anything else. The only thought in her mind was to rush up and protect him so that he would not be harmed in the slightest. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, when the traces of cold sword chi were about to tear Lin Rei into pieces, when the two horned dragons were happy because they were about to kill Lin Rei, a fiery red figure suddenly appeared and used its body to protect Lin Rei. As for the sword chi which had been about to tear Linli to shreds, it had now landed on the fiery red figure. Bang, 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 at the same time, Lin Rei also released his divine sense. When he saw that the person in front of him was Xiaofan, Lin Rei was dumbfounded. Damn, was it really her before? When he saw her, he thought of the chill he felt before. At that moment, everything made sense. At the same time, Lin Rei's face revealed a helpless expression. One had to know that the person hiding in the dark was Xiaofan. Why did he have to look for trouble for no reason? It was so good that he could not get out of this situation now. Although he thought that it was very likely that it was Xiaofan before, after all, he felt a sense of familiarity with the chill from before. However, in the end, he was still unsure. If he had been a little more determined back then, the current situation would not have happened. Of course. It was already too late to say these things. However, when he thought of how the evil phoenix had blocked the sword intent for him, for a moment, Linli couldn't care less about his injuries. He immediately went to her back to check on her injuries. Hiss, at this moment, when he came behind Xiaofan and saw the state of her back, Lin Rei was stunned. He could not help but reveal a distressed expression. At this moment, Xiaofang's back is badly mutilated. Blood has seeped through her clothes and is flowing down. Looking at this scene, a nameless fire burned in his heart. However, Lin Rei did not lose his mind at this moment. Looking at the wound on her back, Lin Rei quickly took out a dozen pills from his storage ring. Before Xiaofan could speak, Lin Rei directly stuffed the pills into her mouth. "Eat it. I'll go and kill them." At this moment, Lin Rei was so domineering that Xiaofan did not dare to have any objections. "Bastards, you deserve to die. What should we do?" At this moment, the horned dragons on both sides of the valley felt the pressure from Lin Rei's nameless anger. For a moment, the two horned dragons were terrified. They felt as if they had fallen into the depths of ice. At this moment, the two horned dragons regretted their previous actions. They really regretted it. If they knew this would happen, they would have let this killing god go directly. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Before doing anything, one had to think of all the possible consequences. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was holding the spear, raised his head and looked at them with his divine sense. Although his injuries had not healed and he would feel pain whenever he moved, he felt all the pain in his body at this moment when he thought of how Xiaofan was injured because of him. His only thought was to kill them to avenge Xiaofan. To Linley, if you cut the weeds without removing the roots, then the weeds would be blown away by the wind, that was his motto. He couldn't possibly know that he deserved it. With a calamity capable of threatening him by his side, not only was this a threat to him, it was also a threat to the people around him. He wouldn't allow this to happen. Even though he was called a devil by the world for doing these things, he did not regret it. As long as he could protect his friends and family, he would rather become a devil. Looking at the remaining horned dragon and the hatred in his eyes, Lin Fan smiled. Linley laughed, and the corners of his mouth tilted upwards by 20 degrees. A bloodthirsty, callous smile appeared on Linley's face. This smile not only caused the realm horned dragon's heart to tremble, but even the remaining evil phoenix couldn't help but take a step back. Unknowingly, its forehead was already covered in sweat. At this moment, she had a new understanding of Lin Rei. At the same time, she was even more curious about Lin Rei. "Accept your fate. Since you hurt my people, you should be prepared to die. No matter who you are, no matter what the power behind you is, as long as you do something that crosses my bottom line, no one can save you." At this moment, Linley's voice rang out once again. The spear that was stabbed into the head of the other horned dragon was pulled out the moment Linley finished speaking. The smell of blood, coupled with the coldness, caused the horned dragon's body to tremble uncontrollably. "Die. I hope you can be a good dragon in your next life. Otherwise, I'm afraid I won't be able to hold back and kill you all." Before the horned dragon could react, a swoosh sound was heard. Then, accompanied by a scream, the two horned dragons were in his hands. Huff! 10 minutes later, Lin Rei let out a long breath. His face was covered in cold sweat. His whole body seemed to be exhausted and he fell backward unconsciously. However, at this moment, Xiaofan saw Lin Rei's action. After a scream, she instantly hugged him and held him in her arms. Then, she sat on the ground with him in her arms. And in that moment, as he felt that warm, smooth arm wrapped around him, Linley knew who it was. He wanted to struggle free, but because of the boundless killing intent, in addition to his previous injuries, even though he had medicinal pills to help him recover, he was unable to do so. Finally, at this moment, she couldn't hold it in any longer. Her injuries completely broke out. Even with the help of pills, she still needed to rest for a period of time. Otherwise, if there were side effects, it would be terrible. Huff! After a long sigh, Lin Rei didn't say anything. Instead, he began to cultivate and recover. At this moment, sensing the rapid flow of spiritual energy in Lin Rei's body, she knew that Lin Rei had begun to cultivate and recover from his injuries. At this moment, Xiaofan was unusually quiet. She quietly looked at the young man in her arms who was many years younger than her. It was such a person that made her heart, which had been firm for so many years, completely fall in love with him at this moment. However, Lin Rei naturally didn't know about this. Of course, even if he knew, he wouldn't say it or even say it out loud. After all, he wasn't strong enough now, and there were still many things waiting for him to do. He didn't have the time, and he didn't have the experience. Not for anything else, but to make himself better. Deep in the Sun Valley, at the entrance of a whirlpool, Chu Xi and Yun Kai, who had escaped from the entrance of the valley, were now standing in front of the whirlpool. They looked at the entrance anxiously, their faces full of depression. Chu Xi, why isn't young master here yet? Do you think don't talk nonsense. Young master is so powerful. Something must have happened to him. Also, since young master told us to wait for him, he'll come looking for us. So, don't get any ideas, understand? Yun Kai mischievously stuck out her tongue at her fiancé's attitude, but she didn't say anything else. She knew that what she said just now was a little inappropriate. However, they had already seen the strength of the two-horned dragons. So, young master, you mustn't let anything happen to you. At this moment, Chu Xi, who was reprimanding his fiancée, secretly prayed in his heart. He was also afraid that his fiancée's words would become reality. He was afraid. Time passed little by little. Chu Xi and Yun Kai, who were waiting at the entrance of the 9th continent, were very anxious. At this moment, at the entrance of the Sun Mountain, Lin Rei and Xiaofan's actions were still the same as before. Lin Rei was lying on Xiaofan's body, and she was hugging him. Their actions were very intimate. A day passed in the blink of an eye. Xiaofan originally thought that Lin Rei's injuries would take at least 3 or 4 days to heal. However, on the second day, the spiritual qi around his body finally disappeared. Xiaofan sensed that and knew that Lin Rei was fine. Xiaofan felt a little disappointed about this matter. Phew! I'm finally healed. At this moment, he stopped circulating his cultivation technique. Fortunately, his injuries were more or less healed, and his heart was filled with relief. Humph, brat, hurry up and get off my body since you're awake. How long do you plan to lie on my body for? Just as Lin Rei was relaxing, a voice suddenly sounded. He was caught off guard. Only then did he remember that he had fallen on Xiaofang's body. When he thought of that, he extended his divine sense and realized that he was still lying on her body. Instantly, Lin Li was shocked. He hurriedly stood up and said to her immediately. I'm sorry. I was too badly injured. It was an unintentional mistake. Please forgive me. Ha ha ha, Xiaofan did not care about Lin Rei's apology. However, when she saw Lin Rei's silly appearance, she laughed. She laughed very happily. Coupled with Xiaofang's peerless beauty, Lin Rei was completely mesmerized by her smile. As the saying went, everyone loved beauty. With such a beautiful appearance and her blooming smile, Lin Rei felt as if everything around him had completely disappeared. It was as if she was the only person in the world, and nothing else existed. Hee. Seeing Lin Li's current appearance, Evil Phoenix felt a bit smug in her heart. After all, the boy she liked was smitten by her beauty. If this happened to any other woman, she would feel happy as well. Cough, cough, looking at Lin Rei, Xiaofan coughed mischievously and woke him up. Let's go. It's time to find Chu Xi. Lin Rei, who was awakened by the coughing, knew that he had lost his composure. For a moment, Lin Rei panicked and hurriedly changed the topic. He then walked towards the depths of the mountain. Xiaofan was still full of smiles when she saw Lin Rei's current appearance. I didn't expect you to have such a cute side. Looks like I have to tease you more in the future. At this moment, Lin Rei did not know what Xiaofan was thinking. At this moment, Lin Rei naturally jumped out of the previous matter. After all, his purpose in coming here was related to his life. He could not be careless, or he would not be able to keep his life. The two of them moved very quickly, one in front and one behind. In the process, the two of them had already reached a speed that completely disappeared from everyone's eyes. Time passed quickly. At this moment, at the entrance of the 9th continent, the two people waiting for Lin Rei were looking left and right. Not long ago, the two of them had discussed that if they could not wait any longer, the two of them would set off to search at the entrance. Kai, why don't we go find, he's here. At this moment, Chu Ci, who was anxiously waiting, was about to go find Lin Rei when he heard Yun Kai's voice. For a moment, Chu Ci turned his head in confusion, only to see Lin Rei, who had been causing him worry, rushing toward him quickly. At this moment, he could finally relax. However, at this moment, another figure rushed into his line of sight. When he saw the figure that rushed into his eyes, Chu Ci cried out in surprise. Damn, why is Xiaofan here? Didn't you say that she wasn't coming? You'll have to ask young master about this. In response, the two of them looked at each other, then quickly walked over, bowed respectfully, and said, the two of us have been waiting. Young master, you've turned danger into safety. Alright, lead the way and enter the 9th continent. Time is of the essence and the mission is important. We have to finish this within 60 years. Chu Ci didn't refuse Lin Li's orders at all. Alright, young master. Please come with me. As he spoke, Chu Ci took Yun Kai's hand and led Lin Rei and Yun Kai into the vortex. As the saying went, heaven and hell were separated by a single thought. One moment, they were in a desolate mountain, and the next moment, they were in a rich land. Lin Rei had never experienced this difference before. Passing by. This time, he experienced the true meaning of heaven. At this moment, the scenery was beautiful, and the spiritual qi was abundant. All kinds of rare and exotic beasts that could not be seen in the divine realm could be found here. There were too many to count. However, this was Lin Rei's consciousness. If it was already like this when he first entered, he would probably be reluctant to leave if he stayed here for a while. The density of spiritual qi here was much better than outside. Moreover, the spiritual qi here was 2 to 3 times purer than outside. For a moment, he was filled with doubts about this ratio. Young master, there's actually something you might not know. At this moment, Chu Ci, who was standing beside Lin Rei, seemed to know about Lin Rei's doubts and began to explain, in the eyes of the people of the 9th continent, the 9 prefectures you speak of is only the outer 9 prefectures, which is the outer layer of the 9 prefectures. Our place is the true land of the 9 prefectures. What? At this moment, Lin Rei could not help but exclaim in shock when he heard Chu Ci's words. If what Chu Ci said was true, then he had not entered the true divine realm for such a long time. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's heart was filled with grievance and hatred. He did not expect that the divine realm he had roamed was only the outer 9 prefectures. Yes, that's right. According to the books, this is the essence of the entire divine realm, and the outside world is just an existence abandoned by the divine realm. Here, I have something that the divine realm does not have, and there is also spiritual qi that the divine realm does not have. Of course, even the cultivators who enter here to train don't know about this. Chapter 700. Upon hearing this, Lin Rei was both surprised and curious. At this moment, he found that things were getting more and more interesting. He originally thought that he would enter the holy world after reaching the peak of the supreme god realm, but now he realized that nothing was going according to his expectations. For example, take the current situation as an example. He originally thought that the holy world was the holy world, but now he realized that everything was just a fantasy in his subjective consciousness. However, at the same time, he came here after learning about this world. He wanted to explore the various secret realms and hidden places of the holy world. He wanted to know how many secrets there were in the holy world that he had not discovered. He wanted to see how wonderful the holy world was. He had always thought that the holy world was just so, but he did not expect that what he originally thought was actually his ignorance. One could imagine the difference between the inner and outer layer of the holy world. At the same time, he also wanted to see how strong the cultivators in the inner layer of the holy world were. They thought that they had such resources and environment. He wanted to see if the inner disciples who were superior to others were flowers in a greenhouse or weeds on a windy cliff. He wanted to see if the vitality of the flowers or the weeds was stronger. At this moment, he really wanted to find an inner disciple to fight. He wanted to see the difference between his cultivation and the inner disciples of the holy world. But before that, he wanted to know more about the division of forces in the holy world, the sects, and a series of other things that he did not know. When he thought of this, Linley turned his head to look at Chu Ci. In a very shameless manner, he asked, "Chu Ci, tell me about the differences between the outer and inner layers of the deity realm. Tell me about the excesses of the sects, and what we need to pay attention to. Also, young master, don't lose. Please allow me to tell you about the division of forces here. It's not like the outside world, it's full of power here." "Well, go ahead." Lin Rei was not dissatisfied with Chu Ci's action. Instead, he smiled and said calmly, "Young master, the division of forces in the inner layer is much clearer than the outside world. Here, the forces are divided into first grade, second grade, and third grade. There's no such thing as a top sect here." "Oh?" Hearing Chu's words, Lin Rei couldn't hold back his curiosity and asked casually. However, the instant Chu Ci stopped speaking, he realized his actions. Immediately, he revealed an embarrassed expression and said, You can continue." After saying that, Lin Rei closed his mouth and looked like he was listening attentively. When Yun Kai saw this, a smile appeared on her face. It was the first time she had seen Lin Rei's expression since they had met, so she couldn't help but be curious. Chu Ci was different from Yun Kai. He was very serious. When he saw that Lin Rei didn't say anything, he continued, "Yes, as you can see, the Danzong sect is a first-grade sect. Although we don't have the authority to command other first-grade sects, we are still an influential force here." Chu Ci's eyes darted around for a moment before he continued, "The weapon refining sect is also a first-rank sect here." "Oh." Hearing this, Lin Rei sighed deeply. He knew why Chu Ci had been avoiding his eyes and talking so much. It was all because he felt humiliated by the weapon refining sect's disciple. What about the other forces? What sects are they from? How strong are they? There are even saint-level experts here. At this moment, Lin Rei's mouth was like a cannon. He didn't stop talking. All the questions in his heart were asked at this moment. Seeing Lin Rei's actions, Chu Ci knew that it was impossible to stop him. He could only helplessly accept his fate. "It's like this." Lin Rei, who was talking non-stop, suddenly stopped when he heard Chu Ci's voice. He stopped talking and closed his mouth to listen carefully. There are a total of 7 first-rank sects here. They are the Danzong sect, the weapon refining sect, the talisman sect, the matrix sect, the fire sect, the rain sect, and the strongest here, the sword sect. At this point, Chu Ci's eyes revealed a trace of yearning. Among the 7 sects, the sword sect is the leader, followed by the rain sect, the fire sect, the matrix sect, the talisman sect, the weapon sect, and finally our Danzong sect. However, our Danzong sect is an indispensable existence in the God realm. Chu Si's eyes shone with extraordinary emotion. Yes, indeed. The Danzong sect is very important among the 7 sections. Without the support of pills, I'm afraid the other sects would suffer heavy losses. After all, without the support of pills, it would be difficult to cultivate quickly, recover from injuries, and do a series of other things. Lin Rei didn't need to think to know what Chu Si meant. If he was the Danzong sect's sect master, he definitely wouldn't let the Danzong sect fall to the bottom of the 7 sections. Although the Danzong sect wasn't the only sect that could concoct pills, the Danzong sect was the most powerful sect in the entire God realm. It had the most alchemists and could nurture alchemists. Of course, other sects could nurture alchemists as well. However, nurturing an alchemist required a huge amount of resources and materials. Not only that, but the most important thing was that the person had to have the ability to concoct pills, spiritual roots, and comprehension. If one didn't have these, no matter how powerful they would be helpless in the end. Therefore, even if they wanted to nurture alchemists, they simply didn't have the experience. Rather than nurturing alchemists, it would be better to not let those resources go to disciples who cultivated. Therefore, it was just as Lin Rei thought. If he were the Danzong sect's sect master, he definitely wouldn't let the Danzong sect fall to the bottom of the 7 sections. However, he also knew that although it couldn't be the bottom of the 7 sects, it definitely couldn't be the main sect. After all, the bird that sticks out gets shot. Even so, the 2nd or 3rd sect master could still do it. He didn't know why the Danzong sect's sect master would do this. Of course, Chu Si naturally didn't know what he was thinking at this moment. At this moment, he was proud that he was a member of the Danzong sect. However, he didn't know that his pride was so weak and insignificant in Lin Rei's eyes. Alright, continue. Oh. He didn't dare to disobey Lin Rei's orders. He immediately hid his pride and continued to talk about the 7 sections. Just like the ranking of the 7 sects, the Sword sect is at the top, and the Danzong sect is at the bottom. However, that's because the Danzong sect mainly focuses on alchemy, so we neglected the cultivation of combat skills. As he spoke, Chu Si felt a little embarrassed. His voice became softer and softer, which showed how little confidence he had when he said these words. However, Lin Rei didn't care about him at all. After all, the Danzong sect was a stranger to him. If it weren't for the 2 of them, he probably wouldn't have come here. Alright, you don't have to say any more. Let me say it. At this moment, just as Chu Si was starting to speak, Yun Kai, who was standing at the side, couldn't stand it anymore. She stepped forward and said, to put it bluntly, the Danzong sect's combat strength is the lowest. We don't even have any status in the weapon refining sect. Usually, when we make certain decisions, the Danzong sect belongs to the type that follows the trend. At this moment, Yun Kai's words stunned Chu Si. However, Lin Rei was indeed quite satisfied with Yun Kai's current state. The 7 sects have beautiful names. Generally speaking, the Danzong sect specializes in alchemy. If they don't have such skills in alchemy, I'm afraid the Danzong sect can't even be rated as a first-rank sect. As for the other 6 sects, the weapon refining sect refines weapons, the formation sect sets up formations, and the talisman sect specializes in drawing talismans. As she spoke, Yun Kai's tone became more serious. She then continued, as for the Rain sect, I don't know the origin of their name. However, I know that all their disciples have a single water attribute spiritual root. In the entire God realm, I'm afraid only the Rain sect's ancestor and sect master know about this. Oh. A single water attribute spiritual root in a sect? At this moment. Hearing Yun Kai's words, Lin Rei was a little surprised. Logically speaking, it was impossible for a sect to only recruit disciples with a single attribute spiritual root. However, it appeared now. He was very puzzled about this, that fire sect. Don't tell me the fire sect only has a single fire attribute spiritual root? At this moment, Lin Rei, who seemed to have thought of something, hurriedly asked. However, although he was already mentally prepared, he still couldn't accept reality. As expected, Lin Rei's guess was confirmed by Yun Kai. That's right. The fire sect indeed only has a single fire attribute spiritual root. This is exactly the same as the water sect. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had received confirmation, was stunned. Refining under such circumstances was the most difficult thing for him to understand since he started cultivating. It was very difficult for him to imagine a sect that only had water attribute spiritual roots. What? What was this about? At this moment, he felt that the inner layer of the God realm was not simple. It was really not simple. At this moment, seeing the complicated expression on Lin Rei's face, Yun Kai knew that he was very puzzled. However, this was something she couldn't explain. However, the sword sect is different. There are various kinds of spiritual roots in the sword sect, but their sect advocates the way of the sword very much. They cultivate the way of the sword and love it more. As she spoke, a mysterious smile appeared on Yun Kai's face. However, at the same time, although their nature is different, there are still similarities between the two sections. In the sword sect, there are people who cultivate other weapons, but these people will never be recognized by the sect because they don't cultivate the way of the sword. In the sword sect, there are only sword Dao battle techniques, cultivation methods, or spells. Then, those people can't stand this kind of rule. Some entered other sects, and some directly established their own sections. To tell you the truth, there are also a small number of disciples in the Danzong sect who came from the sword sect. In the end, the sect leader saw that their spiritual roots were very good and accepted them all. After hearing this, Lin Rei secretly calculated in his heart. He didn't believe that the strength of the 7 sects was really as it seemed on the surface. He believed that there must be something else that Yun Kai didn't say. Sure enough, Lin Rei had just thought up to this point when Yun Kai's voice sounded again. Moreover, what she said was exactly what he was thinking about just now. Even though the sword sect seems to be the leader of the 7 sects on the surface, it's actually not the case. Amongst the 7 sects, the Talisman Grandmaster is the most mysterious. Their abilities are the most mysterious existence in the entire 7 sections. No one knows their cultivation base. As for their ranks, they took the initiative to mention it all those years ago. As expected. At this moment, when he heard Yun Kai's words, Lin Rei understood in his heart. However, what made him curious was why Yun Kai knew what he was thinking every single time. Talisman Grandmaster? Kai, where did you hear all of this from? At this moment, Lin Rei and Yun Kai were both in a state of mind. Only Chu Ci seemed to have jumped out of it. However, Yun Kai seemed to be enjoying herself and started to explain to him. Lin Rei was speechless because he didn't know what to say. Not long after, a few minutes later, Yun Kai and Chu Ci's conversation ended. At this moment, Chu Ci seemed to have understood and nodded. What's after the Talisman Grandmaster? Since the Talisman Grandmaster is the first in the dark, then who's the second? Right at this moment. Xiaofan, who had been standing at the side and hadn't said a word, finally spoke. However, Lin Rei really wanted to know the answer to his question as well. Therefore, both of their gazes converged onto Yun Kai. It's the Rain Sect. Facing Lin Yun and the evil phoenix's thirsty gazes, Yun Kai took a step back and timidly replied, after the Talisman Grandmaster was the Rain Grandmaster. I don't know what happened after that because I read it in a secret manual. As for the other information, it has been destroyed by some unknown thing. At this moment, a trace of disappointment floated across Lin Rei and Xiaofang's faces when they heard Yun Kai's words. However, this disappointment only lasted for a moment. Kid, do you really want to know the division of strength in this place? Do you really want to know why the Rain Sect, the Fire Sect, and the Sword Sect only have one attribute? Are you very unfamiliar with the God realm? It's as if you've discovered a new world. Are you? Stop, stop, stop. At this moment, Lin Rei was feeling disappointed. He originally thought that this matter was over. However, he didn't expect that the silent little dragon would actually awaken at this moment. Moreover, the questions he asked were things that he was very puzzled about. Hurry up and tell me what you know. Don't tempt me endlessly. You know that I'll feel very uncomfortable if I don't get to the bottom of this. Ha ha ha. After Lin Rei finished speaking, a voice instantly filled his mind. At this moment, the little dragon's figure appeared in his mind. With a smile on his face, he said, "It's not impossible if you want to know. Accept the mission. As long as you accept the mission, all the answers you want to know will appear in front of you. How about it?" Mission? When the word mission appeared, Lin Rei subconsciously took a step back. He knew that this was definitely not a coincidence. He didn't believe that the mission would come at such a timely time. What? Kid, you don't dare to accept it? Although the little dragon's provocation never failed, Lin Rei revealed a firm expression at this moment. I accept. Chapter 701. That's more like it. The little dragon wasn't surprised by Lin Rei's decision at all. As someone who understood Lin Rei the best, he naturally knew that Lin Rei wouldn't reject the mission. The little dragon's lips curled into a grin when he heard Lin Fan's reply. Alright, since that's the case, accept the mission. As he spoke, the little dragon's update disappeared. Lin Rei no longer looked as nonchalant as before and became much more serious. Ding dong, however, at this moment, the system's familiar voice rang in Lin Rei's mind. Ding dong, main mission, become the sect master of the Talisman Sect within 100 years. Ding dong, mission reward, the correct refining method of the Heavenly Tower and a map of the Flying Immortal Lake. What? Lin Rei couldn't remain calm when he found out that his mission was to become the sect master of the #1 sect in the inner layer of the God world. Of course. This only lasted for a moment. The moment he remembered that he still had the mind-controlling pill, his uneasiness vanished like smoke into thin air. He had originally thought that it would be a simple matter. However, who would have thought that just as he was about to use the mind-controlling pill to control the entire Talisman Sect, the system notification rang out again. This time, the words that rang out made Linley feel completely helpless. He even had the urge to die. Ding dong, warning to the host. The host is not allowed to use any pills or similar items in this mission. If discovered, the system will not show any mercy and will kill you on the spot. You. At this moment, Linley couldn't say anything else. Because at this moment, he knew that all of this was directed at him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a request. Oh, that's right. Your friends, family, and the entire Xuanzong sect. The Xuanzong sect was created by you and will naturally disappear with you. Similarly, Xiaofan is not allowed to help. If you help her, the consequences will be the same as the previous conditions. Unless you are killed, your family, friends, and even the entire Xuanzong sect will be completely destroyed and will cease to exist. Silence. At this moment, the entire scene was extremely quiet. Linley did not say anything. He knew that this time, the system had done this intentionally. And this intention was specifically targeted at him. Linley was very angry in his heart about this. However, there was nothing he could do. The main mission could not be rejected. After all, Xiaolong had already reminded him of this rule when he first accepted to become the leader of the mysterious sect. As for the consequences of rejecting the main storyline mission, needless to say, it was inevitable that they would be killed mercilessly. What was even more hateful was that they would even be imprisoned. Thus, at this moment, he found it difficult to refuse at all. Rather than saying that he was allowed to choose a mission, it would be more accurate to say that he was ordered to complete this mission. Of course, if there were benefits, there would be drawbacks as well. Even though the first mission no longer provided him with any assistance in becoming the sect master of the Talisman sect within 100 years, the rewards from the other missions were still pretty good. In particular, the method to obtain the heaven-penetrating tower would have an impact on the heaven-penetrating tower. This was because this was a mission that he had accepted in Sky Might City. However, even though he did not know what the map of the Soaring Immortal Lake was, he knew that it was something that he had obtained from the system. However, he knew that anything that could come out from the system was definitely good stuff. Linley naturally had no doubts about this. Kid. Just as Linley was deep in thought, a familiar voice rang out, waking him up and pulling him back to reality. Kid. What are you doing? Are you awake? The familiar voice rang out once again. Lin Rei, who had returned to his original body, naturally heard it. Naturally, he knew that this voice belonged to Xiaofan. This was because out of all the people who had come here, only Xiaofan dared to call him that. The other two naturally did not dare to do so. When Lin Rei returned to his senses, he reorganized his words before he asked, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" At this moment, everyone was shocked by Lin Rei's sudden question. However, at this moment, Xiaofan seemed to be a little displeased. "You still have the nerve to say that? Do you know that you've been standing here for half a day? I've been calling you for so long, yet hearing this." Lin Rei knew why Xiaofang's face was so dark. Regarding this, Lin Rei did not want to waste time on this matter. He immediately opened his mouth to beg for mercy. This is my fault. I'm sorry. It won't happen again." As soon as he finished speaking, the three of them were stunned. The three of them did not react to the sudden apology. This was because in their minds, this seemed to be the first time Lin Rei had said the three words, "I'm sorry." What's wrong? After the apology. Hearing that there was no movement around him, Lin Rei immediately released his divine consciousness. The deep feelings of the three of them appeared in Lin Rei's mind. Seeing Dazed God looking at him with a look of pleasant surprise, as if he had just discovered a new continent, Linley interrupted them, somewhat unaccustomed to it. No, nothing. Yes. No, nothing. At this moment, in response to Lin Rei's question, everyone quickly returned to normal. Linley smiled as he watched their every action. After which, he asked Chu Ci, why don't you tell me more about the Symbol Sect? I am currently training in the Tao of Talismans. I wish to see exactly how powerful their sect is. Talisman Grandmaster? This sudden question instantly stunned Chu Ci. However, after being by his side for so long, Chu Ci had already learned to adapt. Thus, after being stunned by the question, Chu Ci immediately recovered, and opened her mouth to respond to Linley's question. At this moment, in response to Chu Ci's question, Lin Rei nodded and said, "That's right. The Talisman Grandmaster. I want to know their level, power, and other things." Young Master, as you said, the Talisman Grandmaster mostly cultivates by drawing talismans. However, they have a good relationship with the Equipment Refining Sect and the Array Refining Sect. After all, talismans are of great use to both sections. Then, Chu Ci took a deep breath and continued, take the Weapon Refining Sect for example. If they add talismans to their weapons, the spiritual energy in their weapons will be unprecedented in terms of combat power and energy management. Another example is the Array Refining Sect. The Array Refining Sect and talismans have a deep relationship. I heard from the elders that both of them originated from the same sect and the sky was split open in Hongmeng. Therefore, I don't need to say more. Young master, you should understand the relationship between them. At this moment, Lin Rei had a new understanding of the Talisman Grandmaster. Of course, he knew that Chu Xi had mentioned that the Talisman Grandmaster and the Array Refining Sect originated from the same sect when they were in Hongmeng. Moreover, he was also aware of the power of the combination of the Array Refining Sect and talismans. After all, he had experienced this before. Otherwise, he would not have come here today. However, according to Chu Xi, Lin Rei was even more troubled by the mission given by the system. After all, if the Talisman Grandmaster had close ties with the other two sects, the difficulty level of this mission would be raised by a few levels. However, correspondingly, a very good opportunity presented itself at this moment. Due to the Talisman Grandmaster's ability, a slight flaw was exposed, which gave him a rare opportunity. To him, this opportunity was the only one that could destroy the Talisman Grandmaster's plan. After all, it was impossible to subdue a massive sect like the Talisman Grandmaster without using external forces. Phew, at this thought, this plan began to brew in Lin Rei's mind. It was also at this moment that the inner layer of the godly world was no longer peaceful due to Ra's existence. Alright, I will accompany you to the Danzong sect during this period of time. After you send me to the ancient corpse trove, I have other missions for you. However, before that, you still have to tell me about the strange happenings in the godly world. Oh. When they heard Lin Rei's instructions, the two of them were stunned for a moment before they quickly responded. Yes, young master. Young master, actually, there aren't many strange happenings in this place. However, there are a few hidden grounds, forbidden grounds, and secret realms. For example, the ancient corpse trove that you are heading to is the most terrifying place in the hidden grounds. At this point, Chu Xi's expression clearly turned ugly. Lin Li knew why he was like this, but he did not pay any attention to it. Instead, he listened intently to Chu Xi's explanation. Other than the ancient corpse trove, there is also the Flying Deity Lake. This is also a place that you should not go to. The Flying Deity Lake is not inferior to the ancient corpse trove. In fact, it is even more powerful. Flying Deity. Flying Deity Lake. It was a familiar name. Today, this name had appeared twice, and the first time was from the system. Originally, he didn't know where the map was, but now, after hearing Chu Xi's words, he knew some things about it. Of course, it was also at this moment that he decided that he would go to the Flying Deity Lake to investigate once he had settled the matter of his life. After all, he had a map of that place in his hands. Ahem, although he had not reached the place yet, it was only a matter of time. Of course, Chu Xi did not know that Lin Rei had a map of the Flying Deity Lake. However, he knew a little about the Flying Deity Lake. When he heard Lin Rei's question, Chu Xi hurriedly explained. The Flying Deity Lake is a forbidden ground in our hidden grounds. There are many resources in there that even make us green with envy. Even the other sects would fight to obtain any of the spiritual herbs, let alone the Danzong sect. In the end, they would not hesitate to expend a portion of their sect's strength. Of course. In the end, no matter who it is, they will bring the spiritual herbs to the Danzong sect so that our great elders can refine the spiritual herbs for them. At this moment, Chu Xi's face revealed a trace of pride as if this matter was something amazing. I understand. Lin Rei nodded indifferently when he heard Chu Xi's words. Then, he walked towards this new land alone. Xiaofan, who had been following behind Lin Rei, guessed that something was on his mind. However, she did not know what it was that could make him so worried. Then why don't you tell me about other things? For example, the common currency here, and some other things. I really want to know what I haven't seen or heard of in this place that's even larger than the outer layer of the God realm. As he walked, Lin Rei, who had already understood the strength of the experts in this place, thought of something else and asked. Regarding this, Chu Xi had been telling him everything he knew. As long as he wanted to know, he would tell him everything he knew. Chu Xi naturally knew what to say. Young master, the common currency here is exactly the same as the outer layer of the God realm. Even the 4 great guilds in the outer layer have it. However, the 4 great guilds here are indeed the headquarters of the 4 great guilds in the outer layer of the God realm. The guilds here are all elders of the guilds. Some of them are even the founders of the guilds. There are also 4 great guilds here. At this moment, as if he had heard something interesting, Lin Rei could not help but stop walking. He asked, if there are also 4 great guilds here, doesn't that mean, suddenly, as if he had thought of something, Lin Rei's face revealed a trace of astonishment. That's right. Young master, your guess is correct. Just as you've guessed, the 4 great guilds here were founded by the 4 great sects. However, although they were founded by the sects, for some reason, they broke away from the control of the sects a long time ago and formed their own individuals. Because of this, their development became even more unstoppable. In the end, regardless of whether it is the inner layer of the God realm or the outer layer of the God realm, all of them have a special distribution. I truly did not expect this. I truly did not expect that the guilds would not only develop them to the 9 underworlds, but also have their headquarters in the inner layer of the God realm. At this moment, after hearing so many interesting and new things, Lin Rei's brain was unable to process them all. After hearing Chu Xi's words, Lin Rei was silent for a while. When he came back to his senses again, Lin Rei had returned to normal. Phew, that's enough. Let's end this matter here. After saying that, Lin Rei let out a long sigh of relief. He then turned to Chu Xi and said, lead the way. We've wasted enough time here. It's time to go to the Danzong sect. Yes. Young master. Although Chu Xi was somewhat puzzled by Lin Rei's sudden change of topic, he could not help but feel excited at the thought of being able to see his benevolent master soon. But at the same time, the thought of leaving the Danzong sect was like a bucket of cold water being poured over his head, instantly waking him up. Forget it. Let's not think about it anymore. Let's take it one step at a time. Chu Xi hurriedly stopped his wild thoughts. He then took a step forward and leaped into the air, looking for the direction to the Danzong sect. In an instant, he shot out like a bolt of lightning. At this moment, sensing Chu Xi's state, Lin Rei smiled and ignored him. He then led the other 2 into the air and chased after Chu Xi's figure, disappearing into the air. Chapter 702. At the center of the inner layer of the realm of the gods, there was a palace on top of a towering mountain peak. Outside the palace, there was a stream of water and a forest that wrapped around the magnificent palace like an embrace. However, on the surface of the palace, there were carvings of all kinds of rare beasts. Some of the rare beasts did not belong to the realm of the gods. However, it was within this palace that a matter that was closely related to Linli had occurred. At this moment, in the palace, there was a young man in a long robe. He had a delicate face and looked very refined. He held a 9-clawed evil fan in his hand. There were even some unknown runes carved on it. At this moment, the young man's face was ugly. He looked at the old man in front of him and said, "Master, I lost contact with the 2 horned dragons guarding the mountain just now. Seems what?" At this moment, the old man standing in front of the young man had a kind face. He raised his hand and revealed a trace of nobility. However, in his actions, there was a sense of superiority. However, after hearing the young man's words, the old man's face instantly turned ugly. His tone was extremely gloomy. It was as if he was on the verge of losing his temper. At this moment, when the old man spoke, the young man's body could not help but tremble. There was even a look of fear on his face. It seems that he has died. What? The young man did not hesitate to answer the old man's question. However, as soon as the young man spoke, a majestic pressure instantly rushed out and crushed the young man's body. Pooh! The moment the old man released his pressure, the young man's face turned pale. He immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, the young man's face became even paler. Master, I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. The old man continued to release his pressure. At this moment, the young man could no longer withstand the pressure and power. At this moment, the young man hurriedly begged the old man. At that moment, when the old man heard the young man's words, he looked over and saw the blood on the ground. His face was as pale as a sheet of paper, and the old man was naturally able to see it. He was stunned for a moment before he spoke with a guilty expression. I was too excited just now and didn't consider your existence. This is Master's fault. Here, Master apologizes to you. No. Master, you didn't do it on purpose. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame your disciple's cultivation for being too weak. That's why it led to the current situation. This lesson is to warn your disciple that I will continue to work hard in the future. At this moment, when the young man heard his master's apology, his face trembled and he hurriedly put all the blame on himself. At that moment, as he looked at his disciple, he revealed an amused smile. Then, he shook his head and said, Jia, you must know that you are my, Ming's, disciple, Jia Yang. As my disciple, you must possess the spirit of ruling over everything. In the future, you must not say such words again. Also, you have to convince people with reason. Right is right, wrong is wrong. It was my fault in the first place, but because of me, you have to shoulder the responsibility. This is a warning. Next time, I won't say it so lightly. Do you understand? At that moment, when he heard his master's admonishment, the fear and cowardice on Jia Yang's face instantly disappeared. Yes, Master. I understand. I will never do it again. Jia Yang's voice was filled with determination and courage. He no longer had the weak feeling he had before. When Ming sensed the change in her disciple, she revealed a gratified smile. This time, we must pay attention to the death of the horned dragon. After all, they are the guardians of the mountain seeking entrance. They are the guardians of the divine world's inner layer. We must find out who killed them. To our realm palace, this is a huge matter. Who knows, it might even involve the interest of some people. Saying that, Ming's face revealed a cruel smile. However, you must remember that I will always be your strong backing. Of course, I will not say it normally. However, if someone dares to threaten your life, I will not allow it. You are not only my disciple, you are also the next successor of the realm palace. At that moment, when Jia Yang heard those words, he suddenly felt deep veneration. At that moment, he couldn't help but feel proud that he was the next successor of the realm palace. I understand, Master. This time, I will definitely investigate the death of the horned dragon. Don't worry. Amen. Since that's the case, you can go. Remember, the inner layer of the divine world is not our realm palace. Ever since you were born, you have never left the mountain. Remember what I said. The human heart is sinister. In the divine world, no matter who it is, you cannot trust them. The only person you can trust is yourself. Do not put yourself in danger. Saying that, Ming's figure slowly faded from his eyes. However, his voice was still loud and dignified. I understand, Master. I'll remember every word you said. Feeling the care and concern from his master, Jia Yang quickly bowed and kowtowed. However, at that moment, Ming's figure completely disappeared from the palace. His voice also did not resound. Jia Yang straightened his back and looked at the place where his master disappeared. After being stunned for a moment, his eyes were filled with determination. He then turned around, walked out of the palace and flew down the mountain. At that moment, Jia Yang's existence. Even the entire divine world, including the inner layer and outer layer, did not know about the existence of this palace. As for the existence of Ming and Jia Yang, they were even more clueless about it. However, they only knew that there was a mountain in the central area of the inner layer. This mountain was so tall that it reached the clouds. Even a cultivator at the peak of the divine realm would not be able to climb it. Therefore, no one knew about the existence of the realm palace. At that moment, after a few months of flying, Lin Rei finally arrived at the Danzong Sect. He did not know that because he killed the horned dragon, he had attracted the attention of the realm palace's investigator, Jia Yang. However, Lin Rei was very happy at that moment. Because the matter that he had promised Chu Xi was about to be completed. After that, he would be able to easily do the things that he wanted to do. At that moment, after a few months of flying, they had finally arrived at the entrance of the Danzong Sect. Under Chu Xi's lead, Lin Rei and the others did not touch the Danzong Sect protecting formation and arrived at the entrance. However, this was only because of Chu Xi. If it was anyone else, they would have touched the formation before entering the range of 1,000 miles from the entrance of the Danzong Sect. They would have been killed by the formation. At that moment, Chu Xi, who was walking at the very front, had her back to Lin Rei. She looked at the sect that she had left for a long time. For a moment, tears welled up in her eyes. However, Lin Rei was naturally sentimental about this. He did not say anything about it. At the same time, he was not overly anxious. He wanted to quickly finish the matter here. Just like that, he quietly waited for Chu Xi. After a quarter of an hour, Chu Xi returned to her usual sentimental state. The tears in her eyes had already disappeared. Phew. It's been a long time since I've returned to the Danzong Sect. Master, have you been well without me? Has the sect been well? As soon as she sighed emotionally, Yun Kai took a step forward and grabbed her arm. She said gently, "Ci, we've returned. We'll be able to see the sect master in a while." Yes, we'll be able to see him in a while. Chu Xi nodded in melancholy at the words of his fiancée. However, another thought appeared in her mind, one that was completely different from what she was saying. Yes. We've returned, but we'll be leaving very soon. Moreover, this time, we'll be leaving forever. Lin Rei naturally did not know what Chu Xi was thinking, but at the same time, he did not want to know either. Let's go in. Chu Xi turned her head to look at Yun Kai, then slowly said to Lin Li and the other two behind her. She then walked into the sect first. Who are you? How dare you trespass on the Danzong Sect's restricted grounds? Don't you know that the Danzong Sect is, senior brother Chu Xi? The sudden voice caused Chu Xi and the others, who had just entered the mountain gate, to freeze in place. Before the person who had spoken could finish his sentence, another voice filled with pleasant surprise interrupted the person who had spoken. What? Chu Xi. Senior brother Chu Xi. However, when he heard his companion's cry of surprise, the disciple from the Pill sect who had reprimanded Chu Xi and the others quickly rubbed his eyes until they hurt. Only then did he recognize Chu Ci. The moment he recognized Chu Ci, the disciple immediately apologized, "Senior brother. Senior brother, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I've just arrived and I don't think I've seen you before. Regardless of your appearance, I've heard others mention you before, but I didn't recognize you. I'm extremely sorry about that. At this moment, when he heard this disciple that he didn't know speak so long-winded, he was speechless. However, he had no choice but to interrupt him and ask, "Junior brother, may I know if we can go in now?" Yes. Yes, please go in." Hearing Chu Ci's words, the disciple guarding the mountain gate immediately realized that he had lost his composure. He quickly stepped aside and respectfully welcomed the group into the distance. Phew, Chu Ci let out a long sigh and his helpless expression faded away. Then, he turned to Lin Rei with a face full of smiles and asked, "Young master, may I know if you're going to meet my master directly or shall I arrange a place for you to stay?" Arrange a place for me to stay first." When Lin Rei heard Chu Ci's question and was about to answer, Xiaofan did not give Lin Rei a chance to speak. The moment the word "I" left his mouth, Xiaofan beat him to it. Regarding Xiaofang's interruption and interference with his decision, although Lin Rei was a little angry, after seeing Xiaofang's pleading expression, the previous atmosphere was completely obliterated in the cradle. Lin Rei helplessly instructed Chu Ci according to Xiaofang's instructions. "Just follow Xiaofang's instructions. Arrange a quiet place for us. Then, go and meet your master and inform him of my purpose of coming here. Of course, it would be best if he agrees directly. If he doesn't, after we settle down, bring me to reason with him personally." "Yes. I will arrange a quiet place for you to stay." He knew that there was nothing he could do to change Linley's decision. Thus, he could only obey Linley's decision. "Okay, in that case, let's go." "Yes, young master." After replying to Lin Rei, Chu Ci led Lin Rei and the others in the direction of the purple bamboo garden where he used to live. "Hello, senior brother Chu Ci, senior sister Yun Kai." "Hello, senior brother Chu Ci, senior sister Yun Kai." Along the way, wherever Chu Ci passed by, the disciples would respectfully address her. Linley had always believed this to be the case. However, when he saw that although those disciples spoke respectfully to Chu Ci, their eyes were filled with disdain. He knew that Chu Ci had suffered a lot in this place. However, Yun Kai, who had always been protective of Chu Ci, didn't say anything in this situation. However, it could be seen that the anger in her eyes was burning fiercely. Fortunately, Yun Kai was a person who could control herself. If this happened again, she might really explode. If that happened, things would get out of hand. The Purple Bamboo Garden was an independent place in the depths of the Danzong sect. At this moment, outside the Purple Bamboo Garden, Chu Ci led Lin Rei to his residence. The Purple Bamboo Garden, as its name implied, was because the bamboo here was all purple and did not depart from green at all. Therefore, the garden naturally became the Purple Bamboo Garden. Looking at the Purple Bamboo Garden, Chu Ci sighed. Then he turned around and said, "Young master, we've arrived at my humble abode. In a while, you can enter the bamboo garden. Kai and I will go to visit our master's home." "Okay. Go ahead, I'll just walk around here." "Yes, then we'll take our leave first." Chu Ci and Kai said their goodbyes and then disappeared from the spot, disappearing from Lin Rei's sight. The two of them flew towards the west. Oh, they left quite quickly. Looking at the two of them until they disappeared, Lin Rei retracted his gaze and fixed it on the Purple Bamboo Garden in front of him. "TSK, boy, let's not talk about how lucky you are. Sometimes I'm a little envious of you." What? What are you talking about? Why can't I understand a single word? Chapter 703. At this time, when Lin Li heard Xiaolong's words, it could be said that he was completely confused. He was completely at a loss. He did not understand what the little dragon meant. Lin Rei's reaction stunned the little dragon, but it recovered immediately. Sigh. It's normal that you don't know. What do you mean I don't know? Lin Rei was getting more and more anxious by the little dragon's deliberate mystification. He was a straightforward person, and now that the little dragon was behaving like this, how could he not be anxious? He wanted to know the meaning of the little dragon's words, but the little dragon was being so hesitant and not straightforward. This made Lin Rei very anxious. You're getting anxious. The little dragon saw Lin Rei's anxiety and rolled its eyes. It said unhurriedly, "Do you see the purple bamboo in front of you?" "Yes, I see it." "Is there anything wrong with the purple bamboo?" At this moment, in the system, the little dragon saw how stupid Lin Rei was and really wanted to buy him a piece of tofu and let him kill himself. Sigh. Looking at Lin Rei, the little dragon sighed and then explained the origin of the purple bamboo in detail. Purple bamboo is a kind of magical material that can be used to inscribe formations and to refine magical weapons. This kind of thing usually only grows in places with extreme yang, and it grows very slowly. This kind of thing is hard to find, and I didn't expect there to be so many of them here. And, as it spoke, the little dragon's eyes revealed a puzzled look. However, Lin Rei, who had been listening, asked anxiously when the little dragon stopped talking. "And what?" "Just say it, don't stop." Hearing Lin Rei's words, the little dragon's puzzlement was interrupted and it could only continue. "And, this kind of thing is usually not planted in so many places. Moreover, purple bamboo is a very rare thing. Why? Why is it that no one uses it here? And according to my observation, this bamboo forest seems to have never been cut down before?" "What?" At this moment, Lin Li, who had understood, focused his divine sense on the entire purple bamboo forest. For a moment, his heart was filled with excitement. At the same time, he rejoiced in his heart. He rejoiced that the people of the Pill Sect didn't know what was good for them, because all of these things were already in his bag. Lin Rei could not help but smile foolishly. Xiaofan, who had been standing at the side, looked at Lin Rei's reaction and there was some worry in her eyes. Sigh. Seeing Lin Rei's reaction, the little dragon sighed. "I say, can you be a little more promising? It's not that I'm looking down on you, but you can't take these things away with your current ability. If you don't believe me, you can go and try. Of course, don't be too embarrassed if you can't move them. TCH, who are you looking down on? Fine, I'll go. Isn't it just bamboo? Since those idiots from the Danzong sect don't want it, these things are mine, Lin Rei." At this moment, Lin Rei did not cut off the deal with the little dragon. His consciousness returned to his body and the chaotic dragon spear appeared in his hand. At this moment, Lin Rei was acting like this because he was angry with the little dragon. At the same time, he also wanted to take the purple bamboo for himself. However, he didn't care about Evil Phoenix, who had been standing beside him all this time. Just a moment ago, Xiaofan saw Lin Rei's sudden action and became alert. Seeing Lin Rei take out the chaotic dragon spear, she thought that there were enemies nearby. But at the next moment, Lin Rei's action made Xiaofan dumbfounded. Lin Rei, who was holding onto the chaotic dragon spear, walked towards a purple bamboo. At this moment, Xiaofang's eyes were filled with vigilance. But the next scene made Xiaofan completely dumbfounded. Lin Rei, who was holding onto the chaotic dragon spear, released his cultivation. His cultivation was at the middle stage God Emperor realm. His majestic spiritual energy engulfed the entire Danzong sect. The suppression of a middle-stage God-Emperor realm cultivator caused the entire Danzong sect to turn pale and vomit blood the moment they felt the suppression from Lin Rei. Of course, celestial the arch-realm cultivators wouldn't vomit blood. However, this sudden pressure was too much for them to handle. Sensing Linley's current state, the demonic phoenix grew even more vigilant. This was because there weren't many people in the entire God realm who could cause Linley to act in such a manner. She had no choice but to remain vigilant, not just for herself, but also for the sake of protecting Linley. But the next scene made Xiaofan feel that it was hard to accept. Lin Rei held onto the chaotic dragon spear and raised it above his head. Immediately, the surrounding spiritual energy became extremely sharp. The chaotic dragon spear followed the momentum and chopped down on the purple bamboo. At this moment, Lin Rei revealed a smile on his face. He thought that the purple bamboo should be broken this time. But things did not always go according to one's wishes. Peng, like the sound of weapons clashing, instantly entered Lin Rei's ears. At this moment, Lin Rei felt that something was wrong. He immediately released his spiritual sense. When he saw the purple bamboo that was chopped down by him, Lin Rei was dumbfounded. Not because of anything else, but because the purple bamboo was still intact. There was only a faint white mark left on the place where it was chopped down. But not long after, even the white mark disappeared without a trace. At this moment, Lin Rei's body and mind suffered a huge blow. He was sure that with his previous move, he could not kill a God-Emperor realm cultivator. But now, he could not even chop down a single bamboo. No one could bear such humiliation. Lin Rei was completely humiliated. He thought of how he told the little dragon that he could chop down the bamboo, but now he heard the little dragon's laughter. At this moment, Lin Rei wanted nothing more than to find a hole and plunge into it, never to come out again. He did not want to see anyone, especially the little dragon. Okay. Actually, I already knew that you couldn't do it. You just didn't listen to your elders and now you're at a disadvantage. In the system, the little dragon, who was sitting on the lake, saw the disappointment on Lin Rei's face through the system and quickly comforted him. However, his comforting words made Lin Rei even more depressed. Why can't I chop it down even after using the Chaos Dragon Spear? Is this purple bamboo really that strong? Is it really that hard? Lin Rei asked one question after another. These questions were all doubts in his heart at this moment. He was originally very confident, but this matter was a huge blow to him. He had to ask this question clearly. Otherwise, he would spend the rest of his cultivation in silence thinking about these questions. Okay, I'll tell you. Xiaolong, who knew what Linley's temperament was like, immediately opened his mouth to answer Linley's question. This purple bamboo's hardness is unshakable by anyone below the sage realm. And your combat strength is at most able to defeat a small godly venerable realm cultivator. Tell me, with such hardness, how can you? I can't. But Xiaofan can. At this moment, after listening to the little dragon's words, before he could finish speaking, Lin Rei's mind flashed and Xiaofang's figure appeared in his mind. Yes. I can't, but Xiaofan can. As long as Xiaofan makes a move, won't she be able to take all of these purple bamboo? Saying that, he did not greet the little dragon and immediately returned to his body. The moment he returned to his body, Lin Rei turned around and said to Xiaofan, who was standing behind him, Xiaofan, can you? Yes. Without waiting for Lin Rei to say what he meant, Xiaofan immediately agreed. Yes? You don't even know what I'm going to say, but you can. What if I? Pfft, do you think I'm stupid? Seeing Lin Rei's reaction, Xiaofan said without hesitation, your actions just now have already revealed what you want me to do. Moreover, do you think I don't know the purpose of this purple bamboo? Back in the Eldritch era, I didn't even care for such a small thing. Saying that, without waiting for Lin Rei to speak, Xiaofan instantly appeared in front of the purple bamboo. Then, she stretched out her hand and chopped at the purple bamboo across the air. Crack! A strange sound rang out. Linley was overjoyed at this. He immediately turned and chopped out with his divine sense, only to see that a piece of violet bamboo had already been chopped off. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was filled with gratitude towards Xiaofan. At the same time, he was happy to be able to obtain the purple bamboo. Just like that, with Xiaofang's help, the purple bamboo was all in Lin Rei's pocket. As the saying goes, some people are happy while others are sad. Lin Rei was happy, but Chu Xi and Yun Kai, who had gone to find their master, were worried. At this moment, Chu Xi and Yun Kai had already arrived at the entrance of the Danzong Sect's drifting cloud hall, where only the sect master could stay. However, Chu Xi looked troubled and did not know what to say. Ci. It's fine. This time, we came to say goodbye. Moreover, the sect master likes you so much. I'm sure he knows that the pill poison in your body has been removed and that your cultivation has increased because of it. I'm sure he'll be happy for you. Chu Xi stood in place with a complicated expression. When he heard his fiancée's words, his mind became conflicted for a moment. On one side was his master who had raised him, and on the other side was someone who had saved his life and given him the opportunity to increase his cultivation. On one side was the grace of raising him, and on the other side was the grace of recognizing his worth. As the saying went, it was difficult to have both sides. At this moment, Chu Xi had fallen into this situation and did not know what to do. Let's go. The young master is still waiting. If the young master wants to come personally when he reaches a certain level, then things won't be as easy to resolve as they are now. Yes. Yes. Chu Xi immediately came back to his senses when he heard Yunsai's words. He knew a thing or two about Linley's temper, but he had a complete understanding of Linley's battle strength. He did not want the entire sect to be implicated because of his own matters. Thinking of this, Chu Xi let out a long sigh of relief. He squeezed out the trace of a smile on his face with great difficulty, then pulled Yun Kai's hand and stepped into the hall. At this moment, in the drifting cloud hall, a white-haired man was sitting on a seat. His eyes were darting around as if he was contemplating something. He did not notice Chu Xi and Yun Kai's arrival. This person was Chu Xi's master, the current sect master of the Danzong sect, Chu Tiansheng. Master, D. Disciple has returned. The hall was as quiet as before. After Chu Xi bowed, Chu Tiansheng's voice did not come for a long time. Chu Xi thought that Chu Tiansheng had found out about his matter and immediately felt guilty. With a plop, Chu Xi directly knelt on the ground. With tears in his eyes, he said, "Master, disciple. Disciple was wrong. Disciple didn't report to you and..." Ci, when did you come back? Why didn't you inform Master so that Master could come and pick you up? The sudden question interrupted Chu Xi. In response, Chu Xi was stunned. Damn, so you didn't hear me. Of course, this sentence could not be said out loud. Master, disciple has also just returned. I didn't have time to report to you, so, in that case, stand up. There are no outsiders here. Don't kneel for no reason. As the saying goes, men have gold under their knees. If you kneel for no reason, then don't come and see me in the future. Hearing his master, who was also his master and father, say such words, Chu Xi was so frightened that he did not dare to stay on the ground for even a moment. He instantly bounced up from the ground. When Yun Kai saw this scene, she immediately beamed with joy. At this moment, she became even more beautiful, fresh and refined. Oh! Little Kai is also here. At this moment, Yun Kai's laughter attracted Chu Tiancheng's attention. In an instant, Chu Tiancheng hurriedly greeted her. Yes, I came with Brother Ci. When she saw the elder who made her a venerable one mention Chu Ci in his reply, her originally fair and clear face instantly blushed with shyness. Oh! Ha ha ha! Okay. When Yun Kai addressed Chu Ci in such a manner, even a fool would be able to tell the relationship between the two, let alone a sect master. At this moment, he sensed that his disciple had found his wife. He had always thought that the marriage between the two of them was inappropriate, but now it seemed that it was not the case at all. This result, in his opinion, couldn't be better. He couldn't wait for this to happen sooner. Master, this time I came here to say, seeing that his master was so sensitive, Chu Ci did not want to disturb him. But if he did not say it now, when Lin Rui came, he was afraid that when the time came, the world would be turned upside down. However, before Chu Ci could say anything, Chu Tian cut in and said, "That's right." What? You know everything. At this moment, when he heard his master say the words, "I know," Chu Ci's strength instantly disappeared. His face was filled with guilt. Yes, that's right. The few junior brothers who went out with you have all returned. They told me about your situation. They said that you followed someone and that you are no longer a member of the Danzong sect. Is this what you want to say? Chapter 704. Seeing his master like this, the words that Chu Ci had thought of were about to come out of his mouth, but as soon as the word "I" left his mouth, he choked on something and couldn't say anything else. For some reason, he could only look at his master with tears in his eyes and trembling lips. At that moment, he felt as if all the strength in his body had been sucked away. His body was unable to move as he fell backwards. "Ci, are you all right?" However, the moment Chu Ci's body tilted backwards, Yun Kai, who was standing at the side, felt that something was wrong with her fiancé. She quickly reached out to support him. She spoke to him in a concerned tone, her eyes filled with worry and concern. I am fine." Chu Ci immediately steadied himself when he heard her words. He stubbornly persisted, not allowing himself to be in the same situation as before. Chu Tiancheng, who was standing above, naturally saw Chu Ci's situation. The instant Chu Ci was about to fall, his heart skipped a beat. However, after seeing Yun Kai's actions, Chu Tiancheng's anxious heart relaxed and he retreated. "Ci, it's not that I want to say this, but even if I agree, the elders and protectors of the sect will not allow you to leave the sect like this. After all, the sect has treated you well for so many years." With that, Chu Tiancheng's expression became troubled. He felt extremely troubled. He had always cared for his disciple and even treated him as his own son. When someone first told him about this, he did not believe it. However, it now seemed that there was no doubt about it. "Master, I. In terms of being troubled, no one was more troubled than Chu Ci himself. He knew that leaving the sect was very wrong, but he could not go against his promise to Lin Rui. Moreover, he knew that if he did not leave the sect would face the danger of being destroyed. He did not dare to take this risk. Of course, if Lin Rui knew what Chu Ci was thinking, he would definitely find it very funny. However, he could not deny that what Chu Ci said was indeed correct. Of course, it was impossible for the sect to be destroyed. Bang! A loud bang suddenly rang out in the quiet palace. At that moment, the people in the palace who had already sunk into silence turned their heads to look in the direction of the loud bang. At this moment, the door to the palace was kicked open by someone. There were a dozen people. There were old people and middle-aged people. Their faces were filled with ferocity and disdain as they walked in. They arrived next to Chu Xi and stood next to him. Looking at these people, Chu Xi frowned. He knew that these people did not come with good intentions. There were many elders, protectors, and deacons among them. Looking at them, Chu Xi knew that what he wanted to do would be difficult. Junior Chu Xi greets the elders, protectors, and deacons. Junior Yunkai greets elder, protector, and deacon. May I know what business you have here? The two of us are currently reporting to the sect master. All right, stop pretending. Just as Yunkai was speaking respectfully, a middle-aged man among the dozen or so people spoke with a ferocious expression. His tone was cold and even carried a trace of killing intent. Shut up. Do you think Kai, is someone you can reprimand? Do you want to die? At this moment, a battle was about to break out. The moment the middle-aged man reprimanded Yunkai, a terrifying spiritual energy was emitted from Chu Xi's body. The suppression of a middle-stage god-emperor was fully displayed. Pooh! Several sounds of blood spurting could be heard from the side. Chu Xi, who was releasing his suppression, did not care about this. Instead, he came to the side of the person who reprimanded Yunkai previously. He was an old man with a ferocious expression. His tone was cold, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. If I remember correctly, you should be a deacon of the law enforcement hall. At this moment, the change in Chu Xi's attitude stunned everyone present. Everyone was stunned by his actions and the suppression emitted from his body. At this moment, the Chu Xi they saw was completely different from the Chu Xi in their memories. At this moment, they even suspected that this person who seemed to be Chu Xi was not the Chu Xi they knew. They were actively denying this possibility in their hearts. It was not just the deacon elders and protectors. Even Chu Xi's teacher, the sect master of the Danzong sect, Chu Tiansheng, did not dare to believe it. The person who knew Chu Xi the best was none other than the person who taught him. But at this moment, he felt as if he was looking at a stranger. At this moment, the scene was extremely quiet. It was so quiet that even a needle dropping on the ground could be heard clearly. At this moment, the middle-aged man who reprimanded Yunkai previously was already crying in his heart. He did not know whether to laugh or cry on his face. He felt extremely sullen in his heart. In any case, he was a law enforcement officer of the Danzong sect's law enforcement hall. But now, he was actually being humiliated by a disciple and he did not even dare to resist. At this moment, he deeply felt that his face, the dignity that he valued the most, had been completely destroyed. Pa! A crisp and clear sound rang out at this moment. At this moment, the crisp sound once again made everyone present feel as if they had entered an illusion. It was for no other reason than the fact that the deacon was a deacon of the law enforcement hall, a cultivator with the cultivation of a divine lord. But now, he had been slapped in the face by a disciple of the later generation, and a disciple that he had looked down on the most in the past. He could not accept it no matter what. Bastard, bastard, you actually dared to hit me. You. I'll kill you, you bastard. At this moment, the law enforcement hall's deacon, Qiu Jing, had already gone mad. His face was twisted and filled with a murderous aura. A 3-foot-long blade of cold light instantly appeared in his hand. A wave of killing intent rushed out of his body and spread in all directions. Ha! I told you not to attack. Chu Xi's heart was filled with excitement and pleasure as he stood there and looked at Qiu Jing. Previously, he had already reached the end of his patience because of Yunkai's reprimand. However, it had not reached the point where he wanted to kill Yunkai. But who would have thought that this idiot would actually call him a bastard? Chu Xi could no longer hold it in. After so many years, the bitterness in his heart, the grievances in his heart, completely exploded under the influence of the word bastard. Perhaps Chu Ci had not realized that his actions were exactly the same as Lin Rei's. There was no other reason. Those who followed him would prosper, and those who opposed him would perish. His reverse scale could not be touched. If it was touched, he would not rest until he was dead. Seeing that Qiu Jing had already made up his mind to kill him, Chu Ci no longer showed any mercy. Even though Qiu Jing was from the same sect as him, so what? He had already announced that he would withdraw from the Danzong sect. Thus, he was no longer afraid of the rules of the sect. Right now, his only thought was to kill all those who had ridiculed him, looked down on him, and even secretly injured him. Even if he did not kill them, he absolutely could not allow them to do so. After all, he could not bear the sins that he had suffered for all these years for nothing. He wanted to, not get back at them one by one. Very well, come. Let me see the strength of the Danzong sect's law enforcement hall's deacon, Qiu Jing. Let me see if you have the ability to be a law enforcer in the law enforcement hall. After saying that, Chu Ci did not use any weapon, nor did he use the divine tool that Lin Rei had given him. Instead, he simply stood there with a calm expression. It was as if he was waiting for Qiu Jing's arrival. This scene seemed to be exactly what Qiu Jing wanted. At this moment, he became even crazier. His eyes turned scarlet red. At this moment, he no longer resembled a normal person. Instead, he resembled a ferocious beast that had its prey snatched from the tiger's mouth. Be careful. This person is not easy to deal with. Remember, when necessary, it is unavoidable to kill in order to save your own life. Sect Master will not blame you for this. At this moment, even though she knew that her fiancé was a god emperor and was not afraid in the slightest when facing a divine sovereign, it was better to be safe than sorry. What if Qiu Jing had a backup plan? As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. Qiu Jing was a vile person. She had to be on guard against him. Got it. Seeing Yun Kai's concern, Chu Ci's face lit up with joy. Then, he turned his head and became serious. Even so, Yun Kai did not know that he had never intended to let Qiu Jing go. The only result of this battle was either one of them would die or one of them would live. Whoosh! At the moment when their eyes met, Qiu Jing's eyes went blank. His sharp killing intent instantly rushed out. Then, he disappeared from his original position. And, how dare a grain of rice compete with the sun and the moon? Show yourself. In the eyes of the crowd, Qiu Jing's speed was extremely fast. He had even disappeared from their sight. However, they did not know that because Lin Rei had tempered Chu Ci with the illusory spirit blood fire, he was different from the crowd at this moment. He could easily see the trajectory of Qiu Jing rushing towards him and his figure. Of course, he did not think that it was because he was tempered by the illusory spirit blood fire. Instead, he attributed it to the fact that he had already reached the God Emperor realm. Looking at Qiu Jing who was rushing towards him, Chu Ci did not show any mercy. If one does not remove the roots of the weeds, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. At this moment, Chu Ci moved. Chu Ci placed his right hand in front of his chest. His ordinary palm strike was like a clap of thunder. He casually slapped forward. At this moment, his action could be described as a joke in the eyes of the crowd. Even his master, Chu Tiansheng, could not help but worry. He was worried that his disciple would be killed. However, just as the crowd was about to ridicule Chu Ci, they saw that Qiu Jing, who had disappeared, had already made intimate contact with Chu Ci's right hand. However, what was different from before was that the fierce Qiu Jing from before was no longer there. The only thing that remained was a deathly pale complexion. The blood-red color in his eyes had already receded, and what remained was a gaze filled with disbelief. His mouth was opened very wide, and a trace of eye-catching fresh blood flowed out from his mouth. How is this possible? After all, as soon as he appeared, everyone present was stunned. They didn't dare to believe this scene, nor did they want to believe it. They believed that this was a ruin from the past, but after making a trip out, he had actually become someone who could defeat a divine Lord powerhouse in a single move. God Emperor. Middle stage God Emperor? Chu Ci, he has already reached the middle stage God Emperor realm? At this moment, an old man's voice suddenly rang out. Immediately, everyone looked at Chu Ci in disbelief when they heard this sudden news. At this moment, everyone was stunned. Even Chu Tiansheng, Chu Ci's master, was stunned. He knew what a middle-stage God Emperor realm cultivation meant. One had to know that he, as a sect master, was merely a late-stage God Emperor. And now, his disciple was about to surpass him. For a moment, he was both happy and nervous. He was happy because his disciple had surpassed his master. He was nervous because his disciple would no longer need him in the future. These emotions became opposing states in his heart. Neither of them wanted to admit defeat. Ah, not bad. You know quite a lot. At that moment, Chu Ci had no intention of hiding her cultivation from the crowd. She sneered and no longer paid attention to the crowd. Instead, she shifted her gaze to the Qiu Jing who had been injured by her. Looking at him, the killing intent in Chu Ci's eyes became even denser. The palm that was placed on Qiu Jing's body slowly condensed the scattered spiritual energy. An aura of death instantly spread throughout Qiu Jing's body. Fear. Fear. At this moment, he regretted. He regretted those words he had said previously. He regretted mocking, ridiculing, and suppressing him. At this moment, he felt that his actions in the past were ironic. However, it was already too late. Qiu Jing, you shouldn't have called me a bastard. You shouldn't have scolded my fiancé. Originally, I only came here to withdraw from the sect. But you just had to stand out and find trouble. Tell me, isn't this the same as the god of longevity hanging himself? Are you tired of living? Hearing Chu Ci's voice transmission, Qiu Jing's body moved. Immediately, a heart-piercing pain spread throughout his body. His expression became distorted. I was wrong, you should keep those words. Keep them and remember to be a good person in your next life. He knew what Qiu Jing wanted to say. However, he chose not to forgive him. Therefore, he couldn't say those words out loud. The lightning palm contained in his palm was activated at this moment. In an instant, a light that was the size of a grain of rice entered Qiu Jing's heart. Bang! A muffled sound came from Qiu Jing's heart. However, only Chu Ci could hear this sound. It wasn't for any other reason but because it was the lightning palm that he had released. Lightning palm. This lightning palm was given to him by Lin Rui. This lightning palm didn't belong to anyone else. It was something that Lin Rui had researched when he was bored. After all, he used lightning-attributed spiritual energy and lightning-attributed spiritual roots. Therefore, this lightning palm was extremely suitable for him. The best realm of this lightning palm was the sound of thunder. It could kill people silently. A small lightning palm ended the life of a late-stage monarch god just like that. Plop. Qiu Jing's body lost all strength at this moment. His body went limp and fell to the ground. Chapter 705. You killed him? Seeing the deacon being killed, everyone was stunned for a moment. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but tremble. They were afraid. This Chu Ci, who was both familiar and unfamiliar to them, who had always been labeled as trash in their hearts, would really do something like kill a fellow disciple. Humph. So what if I killed him? That's not all. What I want to do is far from enough. Chu Ci glared hatefully at the crowd, the people who had mocked and humiliated him in the past. His silver teeth were clenched tightly together, and his expression was filled with terrifying killing intent. You've humiliated me, cursed me, and mocked me. Today, I'll put an end to it. Hiss. As soon as he said that, everyone gasped and their faces turned pale. When they heard Chu Ci's words, they couldn't help but take a few steps back from the hatred in his voice. They were truly afraid. Wah. Chu Tiansheng stood on top of the stage and looked at his disciple. When he heard his disciple's words, coupled with his previous actions and killing intent, he knew that things wouldn't end peacefully today. However, he didn't want to see such an outcome. At the same time, he knew that this disciple of his had suffered a lot in the past. He even knew that he was often looked down upon by the other disciples of the sect, and even his fellow disciples. Now, he finally exploded. However, he couldn't accept such a method. If he really did what he wanted, the entire sect would be wiped out. At this moment, he had no choice but to step forward. After all, the Danzong sect was one of the 7 sections. Although it was the weakest, he didn't want the sect to be defeated by his own disciple. Master, I can't agree to this. When he heard his master's words, he didn't wait for him to finish because he knew that if his master begged him, the consequences wouldn't be what he imagined. Therefore, before he could finish speaking, he opened his mouth to stop him and said, "Originally, I came to withdraw from the sect this time, but they treated my wife like this. I originally didn't want to pursue the matter in the past, but there too." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone fell into a deathly silence. It was not that they did not want to speak or defend themselves, but they did not have the face to defend themselves. At this moment, they were regretting the mistakes they had made in the past. Alas! Hearing this, Chu Tiantian's face was full of sadness and bitterness. At the same time, he knew that his disciple was not in the wrong. As the saying goes, if one doesn't take revenge, then one is not a gentleman. Revenge breeds revenge. When will it ever end? Can you give me face and let them go? After hearing those words, Chu Tiansheng did not shut his mouth. Instead, he continued, I know that in the past, I didn't dare to do it. In fact, I even caused you pain. But now that you have the strength, then, his words stopped. He couldn't continue. He knew that what he said was very unreasonable, but he couldn't just watch the upper echelons of the sect die like this. Master, don't force me. At this moment, the tears in his eyes couldn't help but flow down. His face was full of struggle, dissatisfaction, and many emotions that he didn't dare to express in the past. Because at this moment, he had the strength to shake the sect. He had the strength to do whatever he wanted. On the side, when Yun Kai saw that her fiancé was in so much pain, her heart also ached. She couldn't help but cry. Reporting, a particularly loud voice came from the silent main hall. From the sound of the voice, it seemed that the person who shouted hadn't come in yet. However, the person's voice came before the person, so it was obvious that the person was in a hurry. At this moment, everyone forgot about everything. Everyone, including Chu Ci and Yun Kai, focused their eyes on the entrance of the main hall. In less than a minute, a young man wearing the Danzong sect's uniform could be seen. His face was pale and anxious, just like everyone else in the main hall. At this moment, the young man quickly walked over. With a plop, the man came to Chu Ci's side. Without saying anything, he directly knelt on the ground and said in a very hurried tone, Sect Master, the guest that senior brother Chu brought back suddenly cut down all the purple bamboos in the purple bamboo garden for some unknown reason. Moreover, the terrifying pressure from before was, as he spoke, the man turned his head and glanced at Chu Ci, who was standing beside him with a hesitant gaze. His lips moved twice. Say, what was it? At this moment, Chu Tiansheng heard that the disciple who came to report was hesitant. For a moment, Chu Tiansheng anxiously urged. However, at this moment, when Chu Ci heard the young man's words, he already knew what he was going to say. Not for anything else, but because he was very familiar with the terrifying pressure from before. It was none other than Lin Rui who was brought here by him. That was why he was able to come out of the three great sects. However, seeing that he was hesitant to speak, Chu Ci didn't hide anything for a moment. Then, the kneeling man said, "Let me speak." Saying that, Chu Ci's gaze swept over everyone. In the end, his gaze focused on his master, Chu Tiansheng, and then he explained the cause and effect of the sudden burst of pressure from before. It's like this. When I returned to the sect, I brought back two people. The sudden burst of pressure from before was emitted by that person. However, I am certain that he has no ill intentions towards the sect. Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing here right now. I'm afraid that you would have already become ice-cold corpses. What? You actually dared to bring an outsider into the sect without permission. Did you forget that the sect, at this moment, the elder who objected to Chu Ci's words spoke up. However, the moment he finished speaking, Chu Tiansheng's expression changed and he hurriedly said, "Enough, let's not talk about this matter for now." Saying that, Chu Tiansheng looked at the elder who criticized Chu Ci. For a moment, he angrily muttered in his heart, he really doesn't know what he's talking about. It seems that the deacon's death didn't have any effect. Of course, as the sect master of the Danzong sect, he couldn't say these words out loud. Since that person was brought back by Ci, then he is a guest of our Danzong sect. As for the purple bamboo courtyard, that is Ci's residence. As long as Ci doesn't mind, then it's fine. Does anyone have any objections? At this moment, Chu Tiansheng's words carried a trace of a commanding tone. Of course, no one present was stupid. As long as they were smart, they wouldn't choose to stand out. After all, they clearly experienced the terrifying pressure from before. He believed that even he himself might not be a match for the person who released that terrifying pressure. Therefore, this kind of person. They could only be friends, not enemies. Yes. We all understand. At this moment, everyone nodded in agreement with Chu Tiansheng's words. It wasn't because they were afraid of Chu Tiansheng, but because they felt that it made sense. Moreover, they also felt the pressure from before. Why? That purple bamboo courtyard belongs to our Danzong sect. Why should we let them take it away? Originally, they thought that this matter would be over, but who would have thought that a very discordant voice would suddenly appear at this moment and disrupt the originally calm scene? Moreover, didn't Chu Ci already request to withdraw from the sect? Since that's the case, that purple bamboo courtyard belongs to our Danzong sect. Since that's the case, why should the guest he brought be like this? Speechless, stunned, blaming, and all kinds of emotions. The moment that voice sounded, everyone looked at him. Everyone looked at him as if he was an idiot. Is that so? An extremely cold voice, so cold that it made everyone's body involuntarily tremble the moment they heard this. Is that so? A man and a woman, without any signs of life, appeared beside Chu Ci and Yun Kai. Their faces were cold and their whole body was emitting the aura of a superior overlord. Young master. The moment the man and woman appeared, Chu Ci felt a familiar aura. He hurriedly turned around and cupped his hands in greeting. Young master, why are you here? Humph, you still have the nerve to ask? Hearing Chu Si's words, Lin Rei turned around and released his divine sense to look at him. His face was as cold as ice as he said, "Disappointing thing, this venerable's face has been thrown away by you. Put on." The moment Lin Rei's words sounded, Chu Si was so frightened that his entire body trembled. In the end, his body became soft and he directly knelt on the ground. He lowered his head and no longer spoke. And this scene completely appeared in the eyes of everyone in the hall. Everyone was shocked by this scene. How is this possible? He's a middle-stage god emperor. How is this possible? Chu Si is so respectful to this person. Then what's his reason for being? At this moment, everyone began to guess Lin Rei's position in Chu Si's heart. At the same time, they also began to guess the strength of this mysterious person who had suddenly appeared. When have I, Lin Rei, ever bullied my people? Tell me, you. Seeing Chu Si suddenly kneel down, Lin Rei revealed a helpless expression. You don't have to worry about this matter. Leave it to me. As soon as he finished speaking, a majestic wave of spiritual energy rushed out of Lin Li's arm and transformed into a huge hand that pulled Chu Si up from the ground. Remember, no matter when, don't kneel. Your knees are to the heavens, to the earth, to your parents, to your master. Don't kneel to anyone else. Even I don't want to. Remember, if you do it again, don't blame me for being impolite. Yes. Yes, I understand. Chu Si, who was lifted up by the hand of spiritual energy, lowered her head and bowed. She then stood to the side without saying anything else, but her eyes were focused on what Lin Rei was going to do. The moment Lin Rei finished reprimanding Chu Si, he strode over to the person who had just spoken. Looking at him, Lin Rei's face was as cold as ice, and his voice was filled with killing intent. Since you said that this item belongs to your Danzong sect, then you're saying that this reverend stole something from your Danzong sect? As soon as these words were spoken, everyone from the Danzong sect revealed a difficult expression. After witnessing Chu Si's strength, they knew that this blind youth before them was not simple. However, at this moment, the middle-aged man who had retorted before was covered in cold sweat. His heart was already in his throat, and an aura of death filled his entire body. The scene was filled with smoke. Just as another deacon of the Danzong sect was about to die, Chu Tiansheng, who had been standing on top of the stage, finally spoke. "Fellow Taoist, please show mercy." "Oh. You are." Hearing this voice, Lin Rei turned around and released his divine sense to follow the voice. He saw a person appear in his mind, looking at him. In an instant, Lin Rei knew who this person was. Ah. So it's the Danzong sect master, Chu Si's master. Looking at him, Lin Li's expression was calm and unhurried as he slowly walked towards him. As he walked, he said, "Actually, you want this matter to end. It's very simple." "Oh." Hearing this, Chu Tiansheng frowned and said with interest, "What do you think?" "Ah. It's very simple." Release Chu Si and Yun Kai. They are now my Xuanzong sect's alchemists, and you are my guest elders. I don't need to tell you what to do next, right? Hearing this, Chu Tiansheng's expression became difficult. He really couldn't bear to let go of this disciple of his. After all, he had raised him single-handedly, and now that he was so strong, how could he bear to let him go? However, no matter how unwilling he was, there was nothing he could do in this situation. The matter was already set in stone. "Okay, but I have a condition. If you agree, I will agree to let Ci leave the sect." "Of course, you can refuse, but Ci Condition?" Hearing his words, Lin Li asked with some interest, "Tell me, what's your condition? As long as it's not too outrageous, I'll agree." Okay. At this moment, Chu Tiansheng was not surprised at all. He was surprised that Lin Rei would agree so readily. However, since he agreed so readily, it would be unwise to go back on his word. Chu Tiansheng didn't think too much about it and said what he wanted. Since you agree, I'll say it. Saying this, Chu Tiansheng looked at Chu Xi and said, in 2 months, in Qiong City, there will be an alchemy convention. My Danzong sect will participate, but we lack a strong and young disciple, so. Ah. A disdainful laugh. At this moment, Linley laughed without any words. His face was filled with mockery. Condition? What kind of condition is this? This is clearly a deal. Why do you care if it's a condition or a suggestion? As long as you can help my Danzong sect become the champion of the alchemy convention, Chu Xi will be yours. From now on, he will have nothing to do with my Danzong sect. Chapter 706. Humph, you're too talkative. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. The person who had spoken was sent flying by Linley's slap. His movements were as smooth as flowing water, without the slightest pause, and without anyone noticing at all. Just like that, a cultivator at the peak of the divine monarch realm was sent flying with a casual slap. Bang, pfff, he flew back 100 meters, forming a perfect parabola in the air. Finally, in the most beautiful posture, his head hit the ground, and his teeth knocked into the ground. At this moment, his body was already at the entrance of the hall. He was battered and exhausted. Everyone was so shocked that they didn't dare to make a move. At the same time, because of his actions, they were able to confirm the strength of this blind youth. This made them feel a sense of danger. They knew that they couldn't afford to provoke such a person. Of course, although the sect had hierarch cultivators like the Grand Elder, they were in seclusion all year round. How could they care about such things? However, at this moment, Linley turned around and looked at Chu Tian with his divine sense. With a mocking expression, he said, "Not bad, Sect Master Chu. You haven't even spoken, and the people below are already so restless." If others didn't know better, they would have thought he was the sect master. After he spoke, everyone was speechless. Even Chu Tiansheng and the person who had been sent flying didn't say a word. At this moment, the atmosphere turned solemn and cold. No one dared to speak, and no one dared to make a sound. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly, for fear that their breathing would affect Linley's mood and lead to what had just happened. Time slowly passed. After an unknown amount of time, the silent atmosphere became more and more oppressive. In the end, Chu Tiansheng couldn't take it anymore and broke the silence. That fellow Taoist, you see, it was all his fault before. I will definitely be strict with him in the future. However, what do you think of our other matter? Hearing his words, Linley smiled and said, Sure. In any case, I'm here to help Chu Xi, but what? Lin Rei's "but" made everyone involuntarily stare blankly, their faces full of doubt. I can agree to your request. However, other than releasing Chu Xi and Chu Feng, you all still need to help me with something. Of course, this condition, this suggestion. As long as you all agree to it, this exalted will definitely help you all obtain first place in the alchemy competition. As he spoke, Lin Rei's divine sense locked onto everyone present, and a trace of a smile appeared on his face. Of course, you can choose not to agree to this condition. However, if you do that, I'll forcefully take Chu Xi and Chu Li away. At that time, I'm afraid you'll really be gone forever. With that, Lin Rei led Xiaofan and Chu Xi out the door. He didn't look back, nor did he hesitate. Just as the four of them were about to step out of the door, Chu Tiancheng's voice sounded from behind them. "Fellow cultivator, don't be in such a hurry to leave." As he spoke, Chu Tiancheng's figure disappeared in a flash. When he reappeared, he was already beside Lin Rei, and said in a sincere tone, "You only said that it's a deal, but you still have to tell me the details. You can't expect me to do whatever you want me to do. First, tell me your conditions. If they're reasonable, then we'll consider it a deal. If they're not reasonable, then..." Lin Rei and the others stopped in their tracks. At this moment, the corners of Lin Rei's mouth lifted slightly, and a trace of a smile appeared on his face. "Ah, I was waiting for you to say that." Lin Rei turned around and looked at Chu Tiancheng. Then, he used a voice transmission to directly enter Chu Tiancheng's mind. "Actually, the condition of this suggestion is nothing much. It's just that I want to become the sect master of the Talisman Grandmaster, and I'll need your help during this period." "What, you, At this moment, apart from shock, there was only shock left in Chu Tiancheng. The Talisman Grandmaster was an enormous sect. He did not know what it meant in other places. However, in his heart, the Talisman Grandmaster was the #1 sect in this place. Although a small sect like his was also a refinement sect, compared to the Talisman Grandmaster, the refining ability of the Danzong sect was akin to that of an ant. If they did not possess such ability, then the current 7 sects would likely have to change sections. Someone from such a powerful sect actually told him that he wanted to become the sect master of the Talisman Grandmaster. Chu Tiancheng was completely dumbfounded by these words. "Ah, what's wrong? You don't dare?" Lin Rei had already mentally prepared himself for Chu Tiancheng's current appearance. However, when he saw Chu Tiancheng's terrified appearance, Lin Rei felt slightly disappointed in his heart. You, Chu Tiancheng stuttered in the face of Lin Rei's crazy idea. He did not know what to say. "The weakest of the 7 sections. I truly did not expect this. So it's not that the Danzong sect is incapable. It's that you, the sect master, are incapable." Lin Rei's face was filled with disdain as he spoke. "You, what about you? Do you only know how to say one word right now?" Without giving him a chance to speak, Lin Rei retorted, "A perfectly fine sect has been turned into this by you. A perfectly fine disciple was actually filled with elixir poison because of you. If it wasn't for me, I'm afraid he would have died long ago." This. Chu Tiancheng was even more speechless when he heard those words. He felt extremely guilty about the elixir poison that Lin Rei had mentioned. "Alright, that's all for now. I'll give you some time to think about it. If you agree, go to Chu Si's purple bamboo courtyard to look for me. If you don't agree, inform me and I'll leave with the 2 of them." With that, Lin Rei turned around and walked out of the hall with the other 3 people. "Oh, by the way, even if you don't agree, it doesn't mean that the other sects won't agree. I believe that many people will agree to the conditions I put forward, and many people will want to see that scene. At that time, the 7 sects will probably have to change." Lin Rei didn't use voice transmission to say those words. Instead, he spoke as he walked. His voice became more and more distant until it finally disappeared completely. Alas! Chu Tiancheng, who had been watching the backs of Lin Rei and the others until they disappeared, retracted his gaze and sighed. Then he walked to his seat and sat down without saying anything. "Boy, what did you say to that old man just now? Why are you acting so sneakily? Tell me quickly." At this time, Lin Rei had already left the hall. He thought that he could have some peace and quiet for a while. But who knew? Just when he thought that he could have some peace and quiet, Xiaofan's voice sounded. He originally thought that he could have some peace and quiet. "Nothing much, I just have nothing to do. Didn't I cultivate Talisman Dao some time ago? So, I thought of looking for a sect to play with. When I came here, Chu Ci said that there is a talisman grandmaster here. Moreover, it seems to be the #1 sect, so, you set your sights on the position of the sect master of the talisman grandmaster, right? When he heard Xiaofan speak her mind, Lin Rei's heart was instantly filled with fear. You are also troublesome. As long as you say it, let alone a small talisman grandmaster, I will help you even if you want to rule the entire divine world. So, why do you have to do this? Chu Ci and the others raised their eyebrows when they heard Xiaofang's words. They were completely stunned and cold sweat broke out on their foreheads. I'm afraid that she is the only one who dares to say this. Chu Ci looked at his fiancée and used his eyes to express his thoughts. Yes, her tone is so domineering. When their eyes met, Yun Kai's eyes seemed to be saying, when will you do this for me? This. Chu Ci naturally understood the meaning behind Yun Kai's words. However, he knew that he would not be able to fulfill such a request. At this moment, Lin Rei did not speak after he heard Xiaofang's words. It was not because he did not want to speak, but because he did not know what to say. Lin Rei could naturally raise her request. However, it would be meaningless if he did so. Moreover, this was a mission given by the system and it was not appropriate to give special treatment. Of course, the most important thing was that the system had clearly stated that no one could help except for him. Otherwise, why would he not use such a capable assistant by his side? Unless he was a fool. However, he couldn't say anything about the system mission, so he could only say that he was speechless at this moment. Let's go, let's go. Lin Rei's silence made Xiaofang's mood sour instantly. She was in a bad mood. Then, she said to everyone and disappeared in a flash. Lin Rei could only smile bitterly at Xiaofang's action. Seeing that she had disappeared, Lin Rei turned around and said to Chu Ci and Chu Ci, let's go. Go back and have a good rest. After that, come find me. I have something for you to do. Yes, we will do as you say. The two of them did not refute Lin Rei's sudden order and lowered their heads to accept it. However, when they looked up, Lin Rei had already disappeared. Both of them showed a helpless expression. Sigh. Let's go, Ci. The two of them had nothing to say about this. After all, they were subordinates and could not afford to offend them. Moreover, they were very willing to do whatever Lin Rei asked them to do. Okay, let's go. Just like that, the two of them also left. However, the way they left was very simple. They left on foot. Along the way, they saw the surrounding scenery. Streams, rivers, mountains, and hills. The two of them talked and laughed, just like a pair of young lovers for the first time. They were green and lovely. As the saying goes, when someone is happy, there will naturally be someone who is unhappy. For example, the Danzong sect master, Chu Tiansheng. At this moment, Chu Tiansheng, who had watched Lin Rei and the rest leave, returned to his seat and fell into silence. His mind was filled with what Lin Rei had said to him previously. Sigh. What should I do? The Talisman sect is not an ordinary sect. If I take action and succeed, everything will be fine. If I fail, all my efforts will be in vain and the Danzong sect may even disappear from the entire world. As the sect master, he does not have the right to make such a decision. After all, he has tens of thousands of disciples who are waiting for him to provide for them. At this moment, Chu Tiansheng was caught in a dilemma. At this moment, there seemed to be two of him in his heart. However, the difference was that the two of them were on opposing sides. One of them was telling him that he had to agree to Lin Rei's conditions. If he succeeded, he would become the leader of the 7 sects. A general success was built on thousands of bones. It was said that a single battle would worry 100 gods. However, the other him was also telling him that if he failed, he would miscalculate and lose everything. In fact, he might even lose everything in the end. These two thoughts had always been opposing each other, and these two thoughts were tormenting him. At this moment, he could not stand it any longer, and his mind was on the verge of collapse. At this moment, the elders, deacons, and protectors below him saw that Chu Tiansheng's face was filled with uncertainty. Sometimes it was distorted, sometimes it was calm, and sometimes it was excited. In an instant, the dissatisfaction in their hearts was suppressed, and they did not dare to say anything. Time passed in the blink of an eye. The sun and moon alternated and the stars moved. In the blink of an eye, they had been in the Danzong sect for more than half a month. During this time, Lin Rui could be said to have lived the life he had when he lost his memories in the profound sky continent. Every day, he would wake up to drink and eat with Xiaofan. When he was bored, he would play a few games of chess to liven things up. Occasionally, he would talk about the extreme Tao with Xiaofan. During this time, the two's life could be said to be ordinary. There was no killing like before. Although they were not used to it, the two of them were very comfortable and peaceful. During this half a month, Chu Tiansheng did not come to the purple bamboo courtyard to look for him. Similarly, during this time, Lin Rui had been waiting. On the first day, he was still looking forward to it. On the 5th day, he was disappointed. On the 10th day, he no longer looked forward to it. Now, he no longer had any expectations. He originally thought that the Danzong sect was Chu Si's sect. It should have been easier to talk to, but he did not expect. This scene was really unexpected. Alas! It seems that he won't come. At this time, in the bamboo house in the purple bamboo courtyard, Lin Rui and Xiaofan sat facing each other. There was a game of chess between them. 2 cups of tea were placed next to them. The fragrance of the tea wafted in the air. However, Lin Rui's face was filled with disappointment. He faced the window and used his divine sense to look inside the house. Sitting opposite him, Xiaofan was different. Lin Rui's face was filled with disappointment and worry. She, on the other hand, was relaxed and full of smiles. She looked extremely happy. If he won't come, then he won't come. Didn't you see how he was at that time? He was scared to death. Do you really think that everyone has the courage and decisiveness like you? It's not that I'm looking down on him. Let me tell you, that Chu Tiansheng, I can guarantee that he definitely won't. He's here. Just as Xiaofan was filled with confidence and patting her chest, the silent Lin Rui opened his mouth. The moment he said those 2 words, Xiaofang's expression changed. She immediately released her divine sense and found that Lin Rui, who had been crazy for half a month, had arrived. A slap to the face, a real slap to the face, and a very loud one at that. At this moment, Xiaofan deeply felt that she had been slapped in the face. Chapter 707. I think I have something else to do. You do what you need to do. I'll be leaving first. At this moment, the demonic phoenix, who had been slapped in the face, didn't even wait for Linley to say anything. It hurriedly replied, then disappeared from the bamboo hut. She ran so fast. He already knew about Xiaofang's actions, so he didn't say anything. Chu Xi, let your master in. Chu Xi, who had been guarding Lin Rui at the door, was in a dilemma when he saw his master. But Lin Rui's voice suddenly came, which solved his immediate problem. Then, Chu Xi smiled and said to his former master, "Master, the young master invites you in." "Okay, got it." Chu Tiansheng didn't find anything strange about Chu Xi's words. After all, Chu Xi was a cultivator stronger than him, so it was impossible for him not to know that he had come. Chu Xi nodded at him. With a smile, he took a step forward and entered the room. Lin Rei, who was sitting cross-legged on the bamboo bed, didn't even turn his head. He had a smile on his face. A cup of tea and a piece of chess. He looked like an expert who lived in seclusion. The fragrance of tea filled the room. Perhaps it was because it was early in the morning, but the fragrance of grass and bamboo leaves mixed with the morning sun and the fragrance of tea in the room made Chu Tianxing frown. He couldn't help but close his eyes, and a look of enjoyment appeared on his face. "Ha, Sect Master Chu, could it be that you came so early just to smell the quiet and secluded air in my bamboo house?" At this moment, Chu Tianxing, who had been affected by the aura in the room, suddenly heard Lin Li's words. He quickly regained his senses and bowed. "Fellow Daoist Lin, you must be joking." With that, Chu Tianxing revealed an awkward expression and walked toward Lin Rei. Step by step, he walked with vigorous steps. However, in Lin Rei's eyes, his image was already fixed. Cowardly, timid, afraid of the wolf in front and the tiger behind, as cowardly as a mouse. There was nothing else. Of course, Lin Li naturally couldn't say such things out loud. On the surface, he still had to be polite to him. After all, he was Chu Si's master. He had to be polite on the surface. Otherwise, if things became awkward, it would be difficult for Chu Si to return. Moreover, the most important thing was that if he did this, then it would be hard for both sides to not be afraid of death when they worked together in the future. "Heh. Yeah, you must be joking." At this moment, knowing that Chu Tianxing was already in front of him, Lin Rei put down the teacup in his hand and looked up with the same expression. "I wonder what brings Sect Master Chu here today." Hearing Lin Rei's words, Chu Tianxing was stunned. He secretly muttered in his heart, "TCH, aren't you asking the obvious?" Even though that was what he was thinking, his words were different. They were impassioned and came from the bottom of his heart. "Fellow Daoist Lin, you must be joking." With that, Chu Tian sat down and continued, "Half a month ago, I didn't answer fellow cultivator Jin's question in time. It was my fault. In the past half a month, I've thought about it again and decided, half a month ago." Knowing that he came from Lin Rei, Chu Tianxing couldn't let him off so easily. He had waited here for half a month, and now he was going to let him off so easily with just a few words. "This was Lin Rei we were talking about." "Oh, that's right. Half a month ago, didn't you say that you wanted to become a talisman grandmaster? I've been thinking about it for the past few days, and I think that it's possible. I wonder." "Oh, so that's what you're talking about." Hearing his words, Lin Rei pretended to remember. However, a sinister and evil smile appeared on his face. "That's right, I wonder." "Hold on." Just as Chu Tianxing was about to speak, Lin Rei interrupted him, "Grandmaster Chu, what you're talking about is something that happened half a month ago. The conditions that I offered back then were definitely beneficial to your Danzong sect. But, you rejected me resolutely and decisively. Initially, I had already given up and wanted to bring the two of them to the Array sect to look for a deal." "What?" Lin Rei's words ignited Chu Tianxing instantly. "No, this, fellow Daoist Lin, you." At this moment, Chu Tianxing was extremely frustrated. In fact, he wanted to give himself a few tight slaps. In the past half a month, he had weighed the pros and cons of this matter. Be it the pill crafting assembly or the talisman grandmaster, no matter which one it was, there were benefits to be had. And it was a huge one. In the past half a month, he had thought about many things. Just yesterday, he had thought about it. He had wanted to come over yesterday, but he was afraid that he would disturb Lin Rei. Therefore, he delayed his visit. But now, he was extremely particular about the pros and cons. Therefore, when Lin Rei said that he wanted to look for the talisman grandmaster for a deal, he regretted it. he truly regretted it. No, 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 no. Definitely not. Fellow Taoist Lin, please listen to me. Just like that, a monk began to recite scriptures to him. All sorts of great principles and all sorts of irrelevant matters were all brought to this matter by the dignified sect leader of the Pill sect. Regarding this, Linley adopted the attitude of watching a show. He drank his tea and played chess with himself. It could be said that he was rather relaxed and at ease. Of course, if there wasn't this chattering Chu Tiansheng beside him, it would be even more perfect. Time passed bit by bit. Lin Rei was truly impressed by Chu Tiansheng's eloquence. That little mouth of his was chattering non-stop. Midway through, Lin Rei passed him some tea. However, he seemed to be extremely nervous and afraid, and did not take a single sip. Just like that, he chattered from morning till night. Sigh. Fellow Taoist Lin, look. After talking so much, you should at least express your stance. I've shown you all my sincerity. As long as you say it, Chu Tiansheng, will definitely do it. As long as we can reach a deal, it's fine. Lin Rei, who was feeling sleepy, suddenly heard the chattering sound in his ear disappear. Then, his sleepiness also disappeared at this moment. Oh, my ears finally have some peace. He stretched his body and was about to stand up and leave. However, at this moment, a hand suddenly reached out and grabbed him. Fellow Taoist Jean, look at you. When this voice suddenly appeared, even Linley was a little scared. He was already afraid of this voice. He could keep talking for an entire day. In response, Linley hurriedly responded. Sect Master Chu, it's already dark. Shouldn't you? As he spoke, Linley hurriedly broke free from Chu Tiansheng's grasp and gestured towards the door. This gesture was enough to show what it meant. He believed that as long as he wasn't a fool, he would understand. However, what Lin Rei didn't expect was that Chu Tiansheng would be so shameless. Chu Tiansheng had clearly seen his gesture and understood the meaning behind it, but he pretended not to see it. Lin Rei was helpless about this. Yes, Grandmaster Chu. You're really good. Looking at him, Lin Rei nodded and sat down again with a helpless expression. He said, I can ask for your previous conditions. Of course, the conditions have to be changed. Yes, say it. As long as the deal is reached, and as long as it doesn't endanger the Danzong sect, I'll agree to everything you said. At this moment, Chu Tiansheng's face was full of smiles. The shameless expression from before had disappeared. He had now returned to his old, cunning self. Of course, Lin Rei naturally sensed that he had agreed so readily. He didn't waste any more time and directly said, actually, it's not a big deal. Actually, the condition I want to add isn't anything big. I just want your Pill sect to help me gather all the information about the Fire sect, Rain sect, Talisman sect, and Sword sect. Of course, this condition may seem simple, but it's actually full of danger. If you don't handle it well, the entire Danzong sect will be implicated and may even be wiped out. Lin Rei's words made Chu Tiansheng fall silent at this moment. However, Lin Rei could see that his eyes were very firm. Lin Rei understood this. The final condition is also very good. The Danzong sect will be the leader of the 7 sects. Similarly, the Xuanzong sect will become your ally. You should know that a venerable grade alchemist is very important to a sect that specializes in alchemy. What? Venerable. Venerable grade alchemist? That's possible. This. Nothing is impossible. You should know that there are all kinds of strange things in the world. What you know and see is just a cluster of icebergs in the world. The venerable grade alchemist realm is just the current realm. It's not certain how high it will be in the future. At this moment, shock, surprise, joy, anticipation, and all kinds of complicated expressions appeared in Chu Tiansheng's eyes. At the same time, his heart to form an alliance with Lin Rui became even more firm at this moment. He was firm, so firm that he wouldn't allow it. How about it? Do you agree, or? I agree, of course I agree. Before Lin Rui could finish speaking, Chu Tiansheng moved closer to Lin Rui with a smile and said in a pleading tone, that Fellow Taoist Lin Rui, you see, next month is the Alchemy Conference. All the forces will gather there to watch the event. Say, if a venerable great alchemist comes personally, then. You're dreaming. His appearance made Lin Rui want to vomit. He had seen shameless people before, but he had never seen someone as shameless as him. However, in order to make sure that his life would still be his after 100 years, Lin Rui didn't refuse. Okay, when the time comes, I will ask the venerable great alchemist of my sect to help you. At the same time, you have to express your attitude. I will know everything about the 4 sections. Remember, I want to know everything about their sons, grandsons, and even what grudges they had in their previous lives. What grudges they had with their sons, and even what enemies they have. I want to know everything. As he spoke, Lin Rui's aura changed instantly. A moment ago, it was warm and warm, but the next moment, it was as cold as the Grim Reaper. If you can't do that, I will let you know that I, Lin Rui, don't make deals carelessly. I will let you know that the price of being perfunctory with me will be the death of your entire sect, including your clan, as compensation for my loss. I know. Fear. He, who was in a high position, also knew the taste of fear. For millions of years, he had been living under the protection of his clan and his master. He had lived a very peaceful life. Even if the other 6 sects were eyeing him covetously, there was no danger to his life. But now, he knew the taste of fear. It was so despairing. It was suffocating. At the same time, he swore that he couldn't afford to offend the person in front of him. Similarly, no one in the entire God realm could offend him. As for those who dared to provoke him, they would all meet a hellish end. Okay, as long as you remember. Looking at his current appearance, Lin Rui smiled. Then, he stood up and left the room in a flash, leaving Chu Ci's line of sight. And this deal was made just like that. Although he didn't gain much from it, he didn't care. After all, this was related to his life. So, he felt that it was worth it. If he lost his life, it would be useless no matter how much he gained. After death, everything would turn into nothingness, and he could only turn into a pile of yellow soil. Am I free? At this moment, Lin Rui, who had just left the room, wanted to go out and take a look at the beautiful scenery of the Danzong sect. Perhaps Xiaofan had been waiting for him all this time. Damn. He knew this voice very well and was very familiar with it. After all, they had been together for so many years. Hearing her words, Lin Rui smiled bitterly. Then, he hurriedly turned around. The bitter smile from before disappeared. At this moment, he was smiling and looked very happy. Xiaofan, you didn't go out to play? Why? You don't want to see me that much? What are you talking about? Why wouldn't I want to see you? You're a Saint stage expert. I can't wait to curry favor with you. TSK, forget it. Seeing Lin Rui's reaction, Xiaofan rolled her eyes at him. Then, she said, Kid, don't say that I'm not on your side. The Danzong sect is not simple. Oh? He was already bored to death. When he heard Xiaofang's words, he was naturally tempted and curious. When I went out to play today, I felt a terrifying aura in the back of the mountain. This aura made me feel sick and disgusted. Oh. Something that could make you feel fear must be very powerful. Looking at Xiaofan, Lin Rei thought about what she had just said. Suddenly, a wave of curiosity rose in Lin Rei's heart. Oh, you're tempted? Yes, Xiaofan knows me well. He was no longer surprised that Xiaofan knew him well. There's still 1.5 months before the alchemy conference. Since I have nothing to do, I might as well go there and take a look. Maybe I can find something interesting. After all, it's too boring here. I can't just drink tea, chat, and play chess for the rest of my days. That's true. Since that's the case, let's go. Anyway, there's nothing to do here. You've already finished your discussion with Old Man Chu. Chapter 708. Amen, you're right. After saying that, the two disappeared from the bamboo house. At this moment, Chu Tiansheng walked out of the room. What was different was that he was worried when he entered the room. But now, that worry had disappeared without a trace. Only a smile was left on his face. It could be seen that his problem was solved. At the back of the mountain, Lin Rei and Xiaofan, who disappeared from the door of the bamboo house, arrived at this moment. They looked at the pitch-black surroundings. Occasionally, there would be a few strands of bright moonlight shining on a few places. Damn, don't tell me this is the place you're talking about. Standing at the same place, he released his divine sense to investigate the place Xiaofan told him. He originally thought that there would be some rare heavenly treasures, but after his investigation, he was 100% sure that there was nothing here. Other than desolate, Lin Rei could not think of any other words to describe this place. Yes, it's here. Previously, I felt that disgusting energy here. Believe me, I won't feel it. Furthermore, that disgusting energy came from the bottom of my heart. After saying that, Xia Feng's face was filled with disgust. A look of disgust. Linley, who had been observing her this entire time, could sense from her eyes a deep sense of disgust from deep within her soul. It was also because of this that Lin Rei became more curious. He could not figure out what kind of energy could make a super expert like Xiaofan feel so disgusted. The silent and tranquil atmosphere, in addition to the sudden chilly wind and the desolate surroundings, for a moment, cold sweat overflowed from his forehead. Damn, what the hell? Lin Rei was embarrassed by his current situation. He was a dignified middle-stage god-emperor who had climbed through mountains of corpses and seas of blood until now. Who would have thought that a chilly wind and the surrounding environment would make him nervous? What one feared would come. At this moment, Xiaofan noticed Lin Rei's expression and state. She did not care about her image and burst out laughing. F***ck. At this moment, seeing Xiaofan like this, Lin Rei wished he could find a hole to hide in and never come out. Of course, he knew that this was impossible. For this reason, he could only pretend to be calm. The nervousness and panic from before had been forcefully removed by Lin Rei at this moment. However, as he panicked, some questions that he didn't understand surfaced at this moment. It had been a long time since he felt this kind of panic, except for when he first came to the profound sky continent. Furthermore, this place made him feel slightly suppressed. At this moment, he felt that this place was not as simple as it seemed. He also began to cultivate. He believed in Xia Feng's words. This place contained the energy that made him feel disgusted. However, he didn't know where he was right now. Hey, Xia Feng's voice came out of nowhere. For a moment, Lin Rei, who was deep in thought, woke up with a start. Perhaps his movements were too big, causing Xia Feng to reveal herself again. Xia Feng's laughter made Lin Rei a little speechless. He had really embarrassed himself today. At this moment, he really wanted to find a piece of tofu and kill himself, so that he wouldn't do anything else. Xiaofan, who had lived for a long time, naturally understood Lin Rui's feelings at a glance. Then, Xiaofan, who was smiling a moment ago, became as serious as ice in the next moment. "Alright, hurry up and tell me. Did you detect that disgusting energy? Is it as disgusting as I said, but at the same time," Xiaofan said helplessly. "At the same time, it's also very powerful." "No. Not at all." In response to Xiaofang's words, Lin Rui told the truth. He really didn't feel that terrifying energy. In fact, he didn't even see a trace of it. However, because of this, he was puzzled. That was why he was puzzled. Logically speaking, although there wasn't any terrifying energy here, there should still be spirit energy. However, there wasn't even a trace of spirit energy here, let alone dense spirit energy. Moreover, when he felt that this place was strange, Lin Rui released his divine sense to explore again. Within 1,000 meters, there wasn't a trace of spiritual energy. On the contrary, outside 1,000 meters, the spiritual energy was very rich. It was rich to the point of being surprising. Moreover, looking at the direction of the spiritual energy flow, it seemed that all of it was spreading in all directions, bypassing this place as the center. In this regard, Lin Rui was full of doubts. Looking at them, it was like a mouse seeing a cat. Good thing, there was something here that made them feel afraid. At this moment, Lin Rui's spirit was tense. He couldn't help but be tense. As the saying goes, if something is abnormal, there must be a demon. Lin Rui believed that these spiritual energy flows were telling him that there was a terrifying existence here, and they didn't dare to come close. That's impossible. How? At this moment, Xiaofan, who was standing to the side, heard Lin Rui's words and said to him in disbelief. However, before she could finish speaking, Lin Rui interrupted her and said, "I know what you just said. However, just now, I really didn't feel any energy that made me afraid. However, when I thought about it, although there isn't any terrifying energy here, I realized that this place isn't simple. It's very simple. I know that there are all kinds of things that you and I are afraid of." "What? Things that you and I are afraid of?" Xiaofan, who was originally a little unhappy with Lin Rui's interruption, was shocked after hearing Lin Rui's words. A trace of doubt and disbelief appeared in her expression. "Yes, I don't know what this thing is at the moment, but..." You can use your divine sense to explore the spiritual energy fluctuations outside and within 1,000 meters. Moreover, have you noticed that within 1,000 meters of where we are? There isn't a trace of spiritual energy circulating at all. Oh. After hearing Lin Rui's words, Xiaofan didn't waste any time and released her divine sense. In the next second, Xiaofang's expression changed drastically. "Heh. How is it? Did you see it?" "Yes, but I didn't feel it before. Now that I look at it, it's really the case." "Yes, not bad." Looking at Xiaofan at this moment, Lin Rui smiled and continued, "You have to know that spiritual energy is everywhere. Even if spiritual energy is scarce and thin, there will still be spiritual energy. However, there's obviously none here. Therefore, I'm sure that within 1,000 meters, there must be some kind of existence that can make spiritual energy tremble. This alone is enough to prove that this place isn't simple." "Yes, not bad." At this moment, Xiaofan agreed with Lin Rui's words. Then, a look of admiration appeared on her face. "Alright, wait here for a while. I'll go check it out. If I find anything, I'll inform you." Before Xiaofan could speak, Lin Rui had already disappeared as soon as the word "I" left her mouth. In this regard, Xiaofan pulled a long face and was full of complaints. Humph, brat, you didn't take me with you again. Fine, when you come back, I'll beat you to death. However, in the end, Xiaofan could only sit down obediently and wait for Lin Rei's return. Although she had complaints in her heart, at this moment, the worry in her heart far exceeded the complaints in her heart. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had separated from Xiaofan, came to the foot of a mountain and explored the surroundings with his divine sense. He was looking for the place where spiritual energy circulated thousands of miles away. He wanted to see how big this place without spiritual energy was. As the saying goes, if you don't look, you won't know. Once you look, you'll be shocked. At this moment, Lin Rei was deeply shocked by this moment. At this moment, the place without spiritual energy was tens of thousands of miles away. It was actually 10,000 meters wide. Seeing this, Lin Rei's heart was filled with shock. The bigger the place without spiritual energy, the more powerful the thing that existed in the place without spiritual energy. In this regard, Lin Rei had no choice but to be careful. He knew his own strength. He believed that the power that could make Xiaofan loathe was not something that he could resist right now. Thinking of this, his divine sense instantly increased by countless times. The entire place without spiritual energy appeared in Lin Rei's mind. The more terrifying and mysterious it is, the more interested this sovereign is. Looking at the scene in his mind, Lin Rei's face revealed a trace of an interested smile. Not good, this is within the Danzong sect's territory. They should know of this place's existence. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's face revealed a smile and said to himself, it seems that the Danzong sect is not simple. However, at this moment, Lin Rei's thoughts were different. As the sect master of the Danzong sect, Chu Tiansheng did not know that at this moment, he was excited because Lin Rei had agreed to his deal. At this moment, in the Danzong sect's main hall, there were 7 or 8 people besides Chu Tiansheng. Most of them were middle-aged, and only 2 of them were old. At this moment, other than Chu Tiansheng, who was sitting in the main seat, the remaining 8 people were whispering to each other and chattering endlessly. Hey, old man, why do you think the sect master called us 2 old things here? Moreover, the 2 protectors and the leaders that we assassinated are also here. Could something have happened? I don't know, but the sect master summoned all of us here at once. I believe that something big must have happened. Moreover, the assassination of the leaders is a secret force. Under normal circumstances, the sect master would not allow these people to appear in the open, but now. At this moment, the other 6 people heard the conversation between the 2 old men. At this moment, a middle-aged man with a sallow face and a head full of messy hair stood up and spoke with a fierce expression. Who cares? The sect leader has summoned us, and as the leader of the assassination team, as well as your orders, we have to obey. You lot are chattering away, and the sect leader hasn't even said anything yet. Are you all trying to? Alright, let's stop talking. At this moment, Chu Tiansheng, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke. His cold gaze swept across the people below, and he spoke in a flat tone, this time, I gathered all of you here because there is something that I need you to do. This mission is not only urgent, but also dangerous. The risk factor is very high, and there is a high possibility of death. So, everyone, I wonder if this mission will be, we will do our best for the sect until our deaths. We will not hesitate to go through water and tread on fire for the sect master. We accept this mission. Sect master, please give us the order. Everyone's words made Chu Tiansheng's heart tighten, but at least he didn't retreat. Good, since that is the case, then this mission will be handed over to you all. Saying that, Chu Tiansheng spoke in full detail about the deal with Lin Rei. There was not a single mistake in the middle. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes had passed, and his speech to everyone was coming to an end. Everyone, you should be clear. You only need to gather all the information about the sect masters of the 4 sects. After that, you don't need to worry about anything. Yes, we understand. The 8 people didn't hesitate to agree to Chu Tiancheng's mission. Very good. Since that is the case, then go. Looking at them, Chu Tiancheng nodded in satisfaction. He waved his hand at everyone, then closed his eyes and fell silent. Everyone understood Chu Tiancheng's meaning. After bowing to him, they left the hall and walked out. The moment everyone left the hall, Chu Tiancheng, who had fallen silent, opened his eyes. His expression was filled with guilt. Be careful. You must come back alive. His words were a pity for the people who had already left. They were too far away to hear him. On the other side, Lin Rei, who had already begun his investigation, had a serious expression. Not long ago, when he was 100 meters into the area without any spirit chi, there was no change, but after 100 meters, a faint pressure appeared. The appearance of the pressure made Lin Rei nervous. But he was only nervous about it. He didn't intend to withdraw. But the deeper Lin Rei went, the stronger the pressure became. At that moment, Lin Rei's heart was in his throat. Phew, feeling the enormous pressure, Lin Rei's expression became more and more serious. He was becoming more and more worried. But the more it was like this, the more curious he became. He really wanted to see just what it was that made the pressure so strong. Thinking about it, Lin Rei couldn't care less. To satisfy his curiosity, he clenched his teeth and stomped his foot. He circulated his cultivation and rushed toward the center as fast as he could. He wasn't very far from the central region to begin with, but because of the presence of the pressure, although Lin Li was using all of his power, his speed was becoming slower and slower. At the same time, when he was 5,000 meters deep. Originally, there was only pressure in the space, but suddenly, a corrosive spirit chi appeared without any warning. Damn! It's demonic energy. Lin Rei was very familiar with this aura. Back in the immortal world, he had practiced the demon race's cultivation method. Moreover, there was still demonic energy in his body. It was just that he hadn't used it in a long time. Now that demonic energy had appeared here, he felt puzzled. Why would demonic energy appear in the Danzong sect? Moreover, this was the immortal world, where the demon race couldn't invade. At that moment, all his doubts and curiosity appeared. Kid, don't go too deep. This thing isn't something you can touch now. Just as Lin Rei was hesitating, the little dragon's voice suddenly sounded. At that moment, the little dragon's words made Lin Rei's eyes light up. Since the little dragon said so, it meant that it knew what was inside. Chapter 709. Then do you know, without waiting for Lin Rei to ask, the little dragon seemed to know what he wanted to ask and said, when the sky was opened, there were 3,000 gods and demons, you should know this. Yes, I know. What's wrong, does the demonic chi here have anything to do with that? Lin Rei was puzzled. Yes, it has something to do with it, and it's not small. Oh? What's going on? Hearing this, Lin Rei's interest was even more intense. The little dragon was not stingy and directly told him about the demonic chi here. In the primeval age, Demon Lord Luo Ho fought with Hong Jun, but unfortunately, Luo Ho could not defeat Hong Jun and was later destroyed. As he spoke, Xiaolong suddenly sighed sadly and continued, when Luo Ho died, he seemed to have expected this. At the moment of his death, he divided his origin into 4 parts and sealed them in the Immortal Slaying Sword Formation, the Destruction Sword Formation, and the 12th grade Black Lotus. The remaining trace of origin also escaped when Hong Jun was not paying attention. You can't be saying that this is Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei looked at the central area with some disbelief for a moment. He could not believe that there were some popular figures in the primeval age here, the origin of Demon Lord Luo Ho. Yes, that's right. Lin Rei's words made the little dragon smile and then continued, when Lu Ho was destroyed, the 12th grade Black Lotus was obtained by Ancestor Mingi, and the fairy-slaying sword formation and destruction were also suppressed by Hongjun. Finally, during his third sermon, he gave it to the 3 pure ones, but he did not know that Luo Ho escaped this calamity, but similarly, he did not escape. What do you mean? Lin Rei could not understand the little dragon's words for a moment. He did not understand the meaning behind it. Oh. In other words, although Luo Ho escaped Hongjun's suppression, he didn't get any benefits. In the end, he even had the intention to escape. After countless years, his origin suffered a destructive nature. After Hongjun merged with the Tao and became Tendo, he learned about a trace of Rahu's origin. After Hongjun mercilessly hunted him down, the last trace of consciousness in the origin completely disappeared. As it spoke, the little dragon directly exited the system space and went straight to the central area. It said in a low voice, "The demonic aura here is the strand of Rahu's origin that escaped. Similarly, it has no origin. As long as you can enter it and tame it, it will be yours." However, at this point, just as he was enjoying himself to the fullest, the little dragon's tone suddenly changed. Just a second ago, it was still deep and affectionate, but in the next moment, it was full of viciousness and killing intent. Although you can tame it, if you don't have the strength to do so, then what awaits you in the end is Jiangshi being devoured by it and then completely devoured by the Rahu's essence, becoming the new demon master, Rahu's Jiangshi. Hiss, at this moment, Lin Rei was completely stunned. He didn't know how many years had passed since the prehistoric era. He never thought that there would be so many powerhouses from the prehistoric era, or even the Hongmeng era, around him. Lin Rei didn't know if it was fortunate or unfortunate, but he knew that he didn't regret it. If it weren't for the system, perhaps he would have been a pile of dirt by now, and no one would remember him. However, he had read a similar novel about Rahu when he was on planet Aqua Blue. Rahu was a mainstream character in the prehistoric era. Why, are you scared? At this moment, the little dragon standing in front of him saw Lin Rei's mouth slightly open and was stunned on the spot. It thought that he was scared. Tisk, scared? Lin Rei was naturally disdainful of the little dragon's ridicule and contempt. Let me tell you, the word scared does not exist in my dictionary. Oh? Is that so? Looking at Lin Rei's strong words, the little dragon almost admired him for a moment. However, the moment the little dragon closed its mouth after speaking, Lin Rei spoke again. However, unlike before, his tone was very firm, but now it was very soft. Of course, although I'm not scared at all, a wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. There are still a lot of things waiting for me to do. I haven't fixed your body for you yet, so I'll take Rahu's origin when I'm strong enough. With that said, Lin Rei's heart was filled with reluctance. He knew the energy of Rahu's origin. It was the path of destruction of the great Tao. If he could obtain it, perhaps he could really condense a territory and improve his realm. But after listening to the little dragon's words, he knew that with his current strength, if he wanted to obtain Rahu's origin, he would only end up being devoured and Rahu would be reborn. If that really happened, the entire realm of the gods would fall into a prehistoric era. Although Lin Rei boasted that he was not a good person, if the realm of the gods was destroyed because of him, he would rather give up the energy that could help him break through. To put it nicely, it was for the realm of the gods. To put it bluntly, it was for his friends and family. When the little dragon heard Lin Rei's words, it was completely stunned. It looked at Lin Rei with eyes full of contempt and said indifferently, "All right, since you've decided, then leave." Quickly get your Danzong sect first place in the alchemy conference, then hurry to the ancient corpse depository. You don't have much time left, do you understand? Hee, I understand. How can I not understand? Lin Rei's heart warmed at the little dragon's words. He knew that although the little dragon had a poisonous tongue, it was very concerned and protective of him. Alright, since you understand, then hurry up and leave. Rahu's origin is here, it's very safe. When you're strong enough, I'll tell you. Alright, I understand. After saying that, Lin Rei listened to the little dragon's words and did not move forward. Instead, he turned around and walked towards the outside. As for the little dragon, after it warned Lin Rei, it entered the system and did not say anything else. At this time, Xiaofan, who had been sitting in the same place waiting for Lin Rei, was very anxious. This little bastard, he said he would hurry up and come out. It's been so long and he still hasn't come back. After saying that, Xiaofan stood up and walked anxiously. Her eyes did not leave the place where Lin Rei left. At this moment, she really hoped that Lin Rei would appear in front of her immediately. Could it be that he was, Xiaofan, who was walking back and forth, began to imagine. Thinking of the energy that made him feel disgusted, Xiaofan became even more worried. No, I'd better go in and take a look. What if that kid is messing around? Xiaofan, who was full of worry, thought of Lin Rei's temper and decided to go in and look for him. Alright, aren't I out now? Just when Xiaofan was about to go in and look for him, the voice that she was looking forward to appeared. Turning around and seeing Lin Rei appear from the other side, Xiaofan was slightly angry. You bastard, why didn't you die in there? You didn't come out for so long, I was going to go in and collect your corpse. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had a calm expression, was stunned when he heard this. His face revealed a look of guilt, and his lips squirmed a few times as if he wanted to say something. However, he did not say anything. Just like that, he quietly used his divine sense to scan Xiaofan, not knowing what to do. Xiaofan, on the other hand, seemed to feel that she had said something inappropriate, so she quickly changed the topic and directly changed the topic. Oh, right. Did you find anything in there? What is that disgusting energy? Have you figured it out? Yes, I've found out. Lin Rei was naturally willing to see Xiaofan like this. Immediately, the guilt from before disappeared, and he told Xiaofan everything he knew. 10 minutes later, after listening to Lin Rei's words, she was stunned on the spot. Her face was full of disbelief. Oh, no, she did not believe what he said at all. Impossible. This is impossible. How can Rahu still be alive? You don't have to be like this. It is indeed Rahu's origin in there. Besides, Rahu is not the only one who survived from the prehistoric era. Lin Rei did not expect Xiaofan to be so shocked. Moreover, he had never seen Xiaofan like this before. Even Haotian back then did not act like this. This showed how much influence Rahu had on her. No. Impossible. Rahu. How can he still be alive? He. At this moment, Xiaofang's eyes were filled with pain. Tears flowed from her eyes unconsciously, and her face was full of sorrow. At this moment, seeing Xiaofan like this made Lin Rei feel inexplicably sad. He could not explain why, but he knew that he should go up and comfort her. Thinking about this, he took a step forward uncontrollably and hugged Xiaofan, whose face was full of tears. He said in a low voice, "It's okay. Everything is in the past. So what if Rahu is still alive? At this moment, he is just a fool with no consciousness. Moreover, when my cultivation is high enough, I will absorb this energy. In the end, this energy will be absorbed by me, and Rahu will die in the end. Xiaofan, who was in Lin Rei's embrace, lay silently in Lin Rei's arms. Her face was full of indescribable pain. At this moment, Lin Rei hugged her even tighter. Time passed little by little. Lin Rei did not know how much time had passed. He only knew that his hands were starting to ache. Phew, right at this moment, demonic Phoenix, who had been lying quietly in his arms, suddenly understood. Her breathing became much calmer than before. In this moment, Linley knew that she was fine. Are you okay? Yes, thank you, but, the moment he heard Xiaofeng's thanks, Lin Rei's face revealed a smile. But then, the situation changed completely, which surprised him. He was a little caught off guard. Although you comforted me, who allowed you to hug me? Boom! As she said that, Lin Rei, who still did not let go, felt a terrifying energy quietly enter his body at this moment. F***ck. The ancients said that only women and villains were difficult to raise. The ancients also said that a woman's mouth was a liar. At this moment, Lin Rei finally understood what it meant. Although it was wrong of him to hug her without permission, he did not expect Xiaofan to use her cultivation. At this moment, that terrifying energy began to wreak havoc within Linley's arm. Instantly, a heart-wrenching, lung-splitting pain spread throughout his entire body, as though he had been struck by lightning. Humph, this is a small price for hugging me without my permission. If it happens again, it won't be so simple. Do you hear me? Lin Rei, who was eroded by pain, heard Xiaofeng's words. For a moment, Lin Rei did not hold back at all. He said coldly, "Humph, just you wait. This is the only time. Even if someone wants to kill you in the future, I won't care about you anymore." After saying that, Lin Rei ignored Xiaofan and sat on the ground. He activated the chaotic heavenly scripture and the illusory spirit blood fire began to rush toward his hands. As for Xiaofeng's energy, although Lin Rei could not catch up to her realm, the only way he could think of to deal with it was his illusory spirit blood fire. Although Xiaofeng's level was like heaven and earth, he was confident in his illusory spirit blood fire. Before activating the illusory spirit blood fire, he was confident. After activating it, his confidence grew even stronger. At this moment, the illusory spirit blood fire that Lin Rei had activated to the extreme began to nibble away at the terrifying energy that Xiaofan had instilled. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's cold words, Xiaofan, who was standing at the side, realized that she had gone too far. However, it was already too late, and it was already impossible for him to correct it. For a moment, Xiaofan, who was full of guilt, did not know what to do. In the end, she could only stand beside Lin Rei and protect him. This was the only thing she could do now. As for retrieving the energy, that was impossible. She also tried to exchange for her own energy. But after several attempts, the energy that was dormant in Lin Rei's arms did not move at all. It was as if the energy did not belong to her. However, Lin Rei was naturally unaware of this. At this moment, he was using all his strength to adjust his cultivation to refine the energy that Xiaofan had instilled in his arms. During the process, Lin Rei did not dare to be careless at all. Because he knew Xiaofeng's cultivation, he had to be careful. This won't do. It's too slow. If this continues, I'm afraid it will take 10 days to half a month. Seeing how slow the refining speed was, Lin Rei became anxious. Devouring Heaven Execution, Whale Swallow. Immediately, the Devouring Heaven Execution's Whale Swallow was activated. Instantly, the speed of a snail before became the speed of a cheetah. Seeing this, Lin Rei smiled. What Lin Rei did not know was that the moment the Devouring Heaven Execution was activated, the spiritual energy within 1,000 meters suddenly changed. A dozen spiritual energy vortexes appeared around him. The spiritual energy that was originally isolated 1,000 meters away seemed to be attracted at this moment and swarmed into the spiritual energy vortexes. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.